subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
63. Conquering Flash Horsia, Squirtle finally evolved. Spent a few days in Ramperchi City, as I've been busy solving the huge Tentacruel incident. There is not much effort to improve the level and strength of Pokemon. After playing with her mother for a day, Xiaozhi couldn't sit still. The hotel I booked for my mother for a few more days also has a private beach. Xiaozhi and Misty embarked on the trip. Target Saffron City, defeat Sabrina, and get the Saffron badge, because Sabrina's psychic is too buggy. Even if the Pokemon you're using is just Abra, you can't resist using your own psychic. To be on the safe side, Xiaozhi plans to capture a Ghost-type Pokemon first. Calculating the time, there are only a few days until the annual summer festival in Maiden Gorge. There's a Ghastly over there that's lived for nearly 1,000 years. Although he has not evolved, he can use hypnosis superbly. It can even transform into human form. The level is definitely not low. The ability can be regarded as the most special among the Ghastlies that appeared in the original plot. Xiaozhi plans to subdue this old ghost who has lived for thousands of years if he has the chance. With him here, Xiaozhi has a little more confidence in challenging the Saffron Gym. Sabrina's psychic is really buggy, and it is hard to guard against, and the mood is uncertain. Xiaozhi doesn't dare to place her hopes on her elusive ghost father, who also possesses psychic. If someone is accidentally turned into a doll by Sabrina, I don't know how long it will take to see the light of day again. This is a werewolf who can even turn his own mother into a doll. 27, although it is also a way to go to Lavender Town to find the 3 Haunter brothers who like to be funny. But the level of the 3 brothers doesn't seem to be very high, if it hadn't happened to make Sabrina laugh and make her return to normal. If we really want to fight, we still don't know who is stronger and who is weaker. Older gingers are more spicy. Ghosts are still stronger with old age. Just to be on the safe side, I'll catch 1,000 Years Ghastly. If that doesn't work, then the next best thing is to find the 3 funny brothers. Ding! Trigger the system mission and go to Maiden Gorge to find traces of the Millennium Ghastly. Reward for completing the mission. News about the girl's lover from 1,000 years ago. Xiaozhi accepted the task immediately after receiving it, and then checked the task description. A hint of joy flashed in his eyes. He was also worried about whether Pikachu, who was at level 50 and had just entered the quasi-elite level, would be unable to defeat the 1,000-year-old Ghastly. I'm thinking about calling in the super ancient Dragonite to help when the time comes. Now, it seems that there is a high probability that it can be solved by oneself. That Ghastly has been trying to help the girl from thousands of years ago fulfill her wish through its own methods for many years. All he had to do was find traces of the 1,000-year-old Ghastly in Maiden Canyon. There is news about the girl's lover, who can get the system reward. With this news, Xiaozhi is certain of conquering the Millennium Ghastly. Without further ado, Xiaozhi took Xiaolu and boarded a cruise ship from Rampur City to Maiden Gorge. I don't know how long I have been sailing, but I have completely moved away from the shore. Xiaozhi asked Misty to wait for him in the cabin. Then, under the surprised eyes of all the passengers, the huge Flash Gyarados was released, and the Flash Gyarados left the cruise ship. What is this guy Xiaozhi doing in secret? Can I find it back later? Misty leaned against the porthole and looked out into the distance, turning into a smaller figure. Holding his chin, there was a little worry in his eyes. System, using high-quality Horsia leads. On the other side, after leaving the cruise ship, Xiaozhi thought silently in his heart. It's far enough away from shore. The entire 200-kilometer radius is sea area, so the search range can be completely filled up. If you use clues on the coast, almost half of the 200 kilometers in radius is land. The actual search range is much smaller. As Xiaozhi recited silently, the high-quality hippocampus clue reward disappeared. Immediately, a familiar, illusory golden arrow appeared in front of Xiaozhi's eyes. Just like when you conquered the golden Magikarp, just follow the arrow. You can successfully find the highest quality Horsia within a 200-kilometer radius. Gyarados follow the direction I point and set off. Xiaozhi patted Gyarados' dorsal fin underneath him. Roar, Gyarados screamed excitedly, then walked through the waves and moved forward at great speed. Pika Pika, Pikachu standing on Xiaozhi's shoulders. Look at the endless ocean and feel the waves coming towards you. I also became excited. This can feel the turbulence of the sea more intuitively than taking a boat. Normal Gyarados is quite small among water-type Pokemon, but because the body shape is long and snake-shaped, the riding experience is actually not very good. And Xiaozhi's Flash Gyarados. The body length alone is more than twice that of the normal Gyarados. The body is several times larger, and the backspace is also very wide. The riding experience is no less than that of Lapras. Lapras, which is known as the best water-type riding Pokemon. IV45's Flash Gyarados is fast. At full speed, it is much faster than the cruise ship Xiaozhi took. There's just no way to move forward around the clock, and it is not as comfortable as a cruise ship. Not long after, following the guidance of the illusory Golden Arrow, Xiaozhi came to a reef area on the sea. According to the clues, Horsea lives in the crevices of the reef area. Come out, Squirtle. Flash Gyarados also has to be ridden by Xiaozhi. In addition, its size is too large, and it is not flexible in the reef area. Naturally, Xiaozhi will not be sent to search for Horsea. This task falls on Squirtle. Jenny. After Squirtle found himself in the sea, he swam twice happily. Then it looked at Xiaozhi with bright eyes, expecting Xiaozhi to assign it a task. Squirtle, there is a Horsea in the reef area. Please defeat it and bring it up. Jenny. Squirtle patted his turtle shell, indicating that everything was covered by it. Then he plunged into the sea with a sudden force. Xiaozhi Pikachu stood on Flash Gyarados and waited quietly. After a while, there was a lot of wind and waves in the sea, and there was a faint whirlpool. The movement lasted for a short time. Squirtle held the incapacitated Horsea by its tail in its mouth and brought it over. It's actually only Flash. Xiaozhi was surprised to find that this black seahorse was actually turquoise. Very different from the normal Horsea blue. Although he lost his ability to fight at this time, Squirtle still grabbed his tail with his mouth. But it is not difficult to see that its figure is actually very elegant. Xiaozhi couldn't help but sigh secretly. Then he took out the treasure ball and captured this extremely rare green Horsea. After thinking for a moment, teleport Pidgeotto back to Professor Oak's laboratory. After all, Horsea has just been conquered, so he needs to be kept close to him as much as possible. Pidgeotto has now been developed by Xiaozhi as an effective exercise method. Returning to Professor Oak's laboratory, apart from the lower efficiency of obtaining combat experience, there is not much impact. Just in time to go back and keep Butterfree company. When they reached Maiden's Gap, Xiaozhi exchanged them with 540 other Pokemon. After doing all this, Xiaozhi looked at Squirtle and did not hesitate to praise him. Well done, Squirtle. Jenny. Squirtle stretched out his paw and scratched his head innocently. Then, a brilliant light of evolution burst out from his body. Pokemon, Squirtle level 431. LV32. Is Squirtle finally evolving? And the level has also been improved by 1 level. Xiaozhi was a little happy to see this. Not long ago, he talked to Squirtle alone about evolution. Help it analyze the pros and cons of evolving or not. Obviously, Squirtle has made his choice now. Pika Pika, Pikachu, and Flash Gyarados were also very happy to see their companions evolve. Like Xiaozhi, he stared intently at Squirtle, who was enveloped in the light of evolution. After a while, the light of evolution dissipated. Squirtle successfully evolved into Wartortle. Maybe it's because of his outstanding potential, or maybe it's because he has accumulated enough experience during the Squirtle stage. Wartortle's turtle shell looks extremely strong, and its limbs are also very powerful. The 2 eyes are bright and sparkling. Compared to the clarity of the Squirtle period, it is a bit more mature. Congratulations, Squirtle. No, it's time for Wartortle. Xiaozhi sincerely wishes. Oh, Pika Pika. The same goes for Flash Gyarados and Pikachu. After catching a green Horsea, Squirtle evolved into Wartortle. Xiaozhi, who had gained a lot from this trip, set off back to the cruise ship. On the way, a thought occurred to me. View information about your own Flash Horsia. Chapter 64. Elite Potential Professor Oak Surprise Pokemon. Horsia, Flash Color, Level 422 Potential, Elite Level Ability, Snipe Shot Skills, Leer Water Gun, Twister, Firm Air Lotus Intimacy, 160, Full Value 255, What to Carry, None Potential Elite Level, although not the championship level Xiaozhi expected. But it's also quite good, and it can be used as the main calendar Pokemon breeder. It makes sense to think about it. How rare is it to have a Pokemon with championship potential? There are currently so many Pokemon in the team, but only Pikachu and Laopeng have reached the championship level, the highest quality Horsia within a 200-kilometer radius. The potential can reach elite level, which is quite good. Not to mention, it's a Flash with different colors. This wave of luck is really good. Ability is not the leisurely way of increasing speed on rainy days, but Snipe Shot. When hitting a critical point, the damage will be increased to 1.5 times the original value. Although it is not easy to beat the Rainy team, but combined with the Focus Energy skill, it can increase the critical hit rate. Horsia's one-on-one ability will be quite outstanding if you complete the final evolution and become Kingdra. One big move goes down and hits the vital point. Lifting the opponent directly away is not a problem. If Xiaozhi obtains the 893 top grade Mystic Water through the system in the future, he can install it on Kingdra. Greatly improves the power of its water-type skill. In the future, you can get a Friend of the Sea title and combine it into a Son of the Sea. Increases combat power by 20% when commanding water-type Pokemon. With the additions from several parties, you will be able to attract people instantly with just one move. However, this requires Horsia's skill hit rate to be very high. It is necessary to not only hit the enemy, but also hit the enemy's vital points as much as possible. Unleash the true power of your Snipe Shot ability. Xiaozhi silently added a hit rate training item to the Horsia training plan he was brewing in his mind. Xiaozhi, what Pokemon did you send here again? Speaking of which, he stole the show in Lampuchi City 2 days ago. I didn't expect this kid to have such a good relationship with the giant Dragonite that appeared in Bill's lighthouse. He can also convince the opponent to stop the giant Tentacruel from destroying the city. Professor Oak's laboratory. Professor Oak discovered that the teleportation device had teleported back to Xiaozhi's baby ball. I couldn't help but think of the news about Ramperky that went viral within Alliance officials 2 days ago. Xiaozhi, a rookie trainer who was not very hopeful before starting, also valued Xiaozhi a little more. He is not inferior to his grandson Gary, and is even better, except for the number of captured Pokemon and the progress of traveling to collect badges. It seems to have gone above and beyond in other ways. That guy Gary didn't send any valuable research information. Xiaozhi sent it twice. The photos of Ho-Oh and the giant Dragonite gave him a lot of research results. You have to throw it away when comparing things. For the first time, Professor Oak felt a little disgusted with his grandson Gary. Travel expenses will have to be halved again. On the other hand, travel expenses have been cut once. He couldn't afford to drive a sports car, and there was no one around him. Gary cried and fainted in the toilet. Professor Oak, who silently cheated his grandson, rubbed his hands and opened the treasure ball sent back by Xiaozhi. It's Pidgeotto. It's a relatively common Pokemon in the Kanto region, but breeders looks pretty good. It should be close to evolution. Plus the Butterfree that was teleported back before. Xiaozhi has a good chance of making it to the top 16 of the Kanto Indigo Plateau Conference. It's just that both Pokemon are flying type. Does Xiaozhi want to imitate that guy Lance and become a flying elite in the future? Professor Oak said it subconsciously. Then he realized something, covered his mouth with his hand, and looked around. Fortunately, that guy Lance isn't here. Otherwise, he would have had to challenge this old guy like me with a lot of noise. Really, there are obviously not many Dragon-type Pokemon, so I have to say that I am a Dragon-type elite. A name with a dragon is also a dragon. Lance knows how to deceive himself. On the other side, Xiaozhi, CHFG, rode Flash Gyarados and caught up with the cruise ship very quickly. Gyarados slowed down to keep pace with the cruise ship. Then he stood upright, and was almost as tall as this large cruise ship. Xiaozhi pushed his legs hard and jumped from Garrido's head to the deck of the cruise ship. "Come back, Garridos. Thank you for your hard work." Xiaozhi took Flash Garridos back into the baby ball. When he came back, there were not many people on the deck. It didn't cause as much of a stir as when he left. I avoided several trainers who wanted to get close and take photos with their own Flash Garridos. Xiaozhi returned to his and Misty's cabin. At this time, Misty was sitting on the edge of the bed with her hands on her legs and her chin, looking a little bored. I noticed that the hatch was open from the outside, and when I looked up, I found it was Xiaozhi. He immediately rushed forward enthusiastically and jumped on Xiaozhi. "Xiaozhi, you are finally back. I was afraid you couldn't find it." Okay, it's not like you don't know. I never do anything I'm not sure about, so you don't have to worry so much in the future." Hearing the deep concern in his girlfriend's tone, Xiaozhi felt warm in his heart. He patted Misty's back and put her down. "Xiaozhi, what good things did you get when you went out this time?" After traveling together for so long, Xiaolei knows Xiaozhi quite well. "As expected, I still can't hide it from you. I want to tame a Horsea this time. In addition to Squirtle, we will have the same Pokemon again." Xiaozhi said, took out Horsea's baby ball, and released it. Green? Another strange-colored Pokemon. I like it so much. The first moment she saw Flash Horsea, Xiaolei was excited. Holding Xiaozhi's hand, he jumped up and down. It took a long time before calmness returned. He moved his legs and straddled Xiaozhi. "Eye-to-eye. Xiaozhi, I now seriously doubt whether you saved the world in your previous life to get so lucky in this life. Not only did I pick up unwanted items from the Yuuzhan family when I went out, but I also captured 2 Pokemon of different colors in succession. Ahem, Misty, my heterochromatic Horsea is a male, and yours seems to be a female. Let the 2 little guys get along well in the future, and see if they can create a love ember. Maybe their descendants can also inherit the talent of different colors." Xiaozhi refused to discuss the topic and changed the direction. "Great, come out, Horsea. You have a new companion." Misty happily released her Horsea. The 2 horses stared at each other for a long time, and then they started playing together after they got familiar with each other. It seems that the probability of the 2 little guys succeeding in the future is very high. Xiaozhi plans to wait until they reach enough levels to evolve into Seadra. Just use the 2 dragon scales in the system space. Let them evolve into Kingdra. Water plus dragon type, plus a whopping 540 points of species strength. Absolute quasi-god underlord. During the fight, the cruise ship quietly arrived at Maiden Gorge. Before the ship docks, Xiaozhi stopped his hand and Misty raised her head. Xiaozhi glanced at Xiaozhi with a bit of tenderness in her resentment and went to the bathroom to wash up. Chapter 65, Butterfree returns. Elite, searching for Millennium Ghastly Maiden Gorge has become very lively because of the approaching summer festival. Many tourists from various regions in Kanto come here to travel. When getting off the boat, Xiaozhi looked around. "I want to find Ghastly's traces early so that I can complete the system task and get the news about the girl's sweetheart from thousands of years ago." Suddenly, I felt a pair of small hands coming up from my waist. Turning his head to look, he saw Misty tilting her head proudly. Xiaozhi is such a bad guy. He just finished bullying himself and went to look at beautiful women. Misty puffed out her sore cheeks. "I vowed not to let this bad guy Xiaozhi touch me for at least 2 days. Unlike some women who were fine in previous lives, their hearts are as deep as the sea." It's easy to guess what Misty, a Tsundere girl, is thinking, and it's almost written on her face. Xiaozhi put her little hand into his palm in a funny way. He stepped forward and quietly explained 4, 2, 3. Misty suddenly beamed and happily took Xiaozhi around the festival. During this period, Xiaozhi failed to meet Ghastly, who was pretending to be a beautiful girl from 1,000 years ago, and the old woman she transformed into. However, at the end of a street, I caught a glimpse of a somewhat familiar figure from a distance. James from Team Rocket. Reminiscent of the original plot, the other party was once visited by the Millennium Ghastly. Xiaozhi quietly attached himself to James with a trace of psychic. Made a simplified version of positioning. I plan to go over to James' place tonight to have a look. If that doesn't work, try to find a way to find the Millennium Ghastly. Xiaozhi plans to stay in Maiden Gorge for 3 days. If you can't conquer the Millennium Ghastly within 3 days, leave. Then find a way to conquer the 3 funny brothers of Lavender Town. Or look elsewhere to see if there are any Ghost-type or Dark-type Pokemon worth capturing. If that doesn't work, I can only place my hope on Butterfree. Bug-type also has a certain restraining effect on Psychic-type. It's just that Butterfree's own strength is not high. If you use it, you have to level it up in advance to improve it. After sorting out the thoughts in his mind, Xiaozhi put aside his thoughts and accompanied Misty to the summer festival in Maiden Gorge. With the physique of a mega rookie and the power of Waveguide and Psychic, 2 extraordinary powers. Playing the hoops and archery mini-games in the summer festival is just a snap. Helped Misty win many cute dolls and gained the admiration of girls. Other men who come with female companions suffer the consequences. Their female companions saw that Xiaozhi had won so many dolls and prizes. He also clamored for his male partner to help him win some back. The results are obvious. The merchants who lost a lot of prizes because of Xiaozhi put smiles on their faces again. Stephanie's wives, who couldn't bear to lose this man, dragged their male companions away to avoid giving away money. As you can guess, these men didn't have a good night's experience. Take the trouble to accompany your female companion to a summer festival. Not to mention learning some new knowledge. I probably won't be able to get into bed. Finally, Misty couldn't hold on to the prize and found the post office. Most of the prize dolls were mailed back to Cerulean City. Only a small pink pig with a bow is left. It just matches the pig doll that Xiaozhi gave me before. The one from Nibby City is Xiaozhi, and this one is me. Misty put the doll in her backpack and placed it next to the original one. Get into a snuggling position. He smiled with satisfaction. After leaving the post office, Xiaozhi went to the Pokemon Center. There, the 3 Pokemon Wartortle, Bulbasaur, and Charmeleon were teleported back, replaced Butterfree and Pidgeotto. Pokemon Butterfree, level 433. Pokemon Pidgeotto, level 35. As soon as Xiaozhi got the baby ball, he released Butterfree and Pidgeotto. When Butterfree was returned to Professor Oak's laboratory, its level was LV 29. Now it has been upgraded by a full 4 levels, reaching 433. It has become an elite Pokemon. As for Pidgeotto, it was because he had only been teleported back for a few days. It's still at level 35, and it takes 1 more level to evolve into a Baijiao. Butterfree was very excited after not seeing Xiaozhi for a long time, flying up and down around Xiaozhi enthusiastically, telling her how much she misses. Butterfree, I miss you too. I have worked hard for you during this period. I will leave it to you for the rest of the journey. Xiaozhi responded happily. Butterfree is not idle at Professor Oak either. He improved to 4 levels in one go. Obviously, he insists on exercising on his own on weekdays. You can also battle Pokemon that often roam Professor Oak's laboratory. The level has kept up with the mainstream echelons. In terms of its quasi-elite talent, which is lower than the general elite level of the team, the effort and sweat put in behind it are beyond Xiaozhi's imagination. I will definitely help you get that pink Butterfree to be your wife when the time comes. Looking at Butterfree flying around him excitedly, Xiaozhi, he thought to himself. After some replacement, the Pokemon held by Xiaozhi are IV50, Quasi-Elite Pikachu, 445, Gym Level Flash Gyarados LV35, Elite Level Amber 01, 3802, 527 Falu, 18236, 3111, 433. Elite Butterfree and 422 Normal Level Flash Horsia, which I just conquered not long ago. The empty carrying slot is reserved for the Millennium Ghastly, who is ready to conquer next. Xiaozhi plans to wait until he finishes challenging the Saffron Gym before conducting a round of rotation within the team. At that time, he will replace Krabby, with whom he has not yet met in reality after subduing him. In the original plot, Krabby said it was his own Pokemon. In fact, I didn't put any effort into cultivating him at all. Professor Oak was always helping me take care of him. As a trainer, this is really not the case. After conquering the Millennium Ghastly in 1.1, I will prepare to marry Butterfree. By the way, level up Pidgeotto as well and evolve into Pidgeotto as soon as possible. It's been a long time since I've been eating Pidgeotto's exclusive golden garbage feed, and it's time to see what the effect is. After Pidgeotto evolved into Pidgeotto, Xiaozhi had another riding Pokemon in addition to Flash Gyarados. If you need to rush for something urgent, then it will be much more convenient. You can even hike during the day, and when it gets dark, ride Bidiao to the nearest town to stay. Not only is it convenient, but it is also safer than camping in the wild. At night, call Misty and bring all the Pokemon. Xiaozhi followed the location left by James. Chapter 66. Conquer Ghastly, LV61, Elite, Ding. The trace of the Millennium Ghastly was successfully found. The mission is completed. Obtain reward. News about the girl's lover from thousands of years ago. As expected, James was targeted by the Millennium Ghastly when Xiaozhi and his party arrived following the location. Millennium Ghastly is using hypnosis, toying with the Team Rocket trio and their Pokemon. The scene was obviously empty. Meowth seemed to have encountered something fun, running around chasing a ball of air. Ekans and Coughing fled in all directions, as if they had encountered natural enemies. On top of that, things are not going too well for James and Jessie. Obviously, they fell into the illusion created by Ns using sleep magic. Misty looked at the strange scene in front of her and couldn't help but feel a little shocked. Okay, so awesome. If Xiaozhi hadn't explained it in advance, she wouldn't have known that the illusory girl ghost in front of her was actually Ghastly pretending to be. Xiaozhi received the mission reward, and a message flowed through his mind. I feel a little more confident about conquering the Millennium Ghastly. Glancing at the trio of Team Rocket who were trapped in hypnosis and unable to extricate themselves, they shook their heads slightly. For the sake of Lampuchi City, I will save you this time. Take a step forward and say every word. Ghastly, don't you want to help that girl find her lover? I know, let him go. Girl Ghost seemed a little surprised when Xiaozhi revealed its identity with just one word. But more attention was paid to Xiaozhi's other words. He no longer wanted to take away the Rocket Trio and stopped using hypnosis. I'm saved, Meow. James, don't be stunned. Let's go quickly while the kid is here to block the gun. As soon as the Rocket Trio recovered from hypnosis, they discovered that the girl ghost had not left yet. He rolled and crawled away. It's so unfaithful. No, they are bad guys. Isn't it normal to have no loyalty? It's weird to have loyalty. Misty looked on and shook her head. On the other side, Xiaozhi started talking with Ghastly, who had removed the disguise of the girl ghost and restored her original appearance. Xiaozhi, who had the information about the girl's lover from 1,000 years ago, did not choose to use it as a deal and blackmailed Ghastly to join the team, but shared openly and openly. It turns out that the girl's sweetheart died in battle not long after setting off, and almost everyone who was traveling with him died in battle in the end. No wonder the girl didn't wait for news about him. Ghastly said with some emotion, then thanked Xiaozhi and planned to leave. Xiaozhi stopped him and proposed the idea of conquering it. His wish was fulfilled, and Ghastly, who had nowhere to go, simply agreed. The main reason is that Xiaozhi is pleasing to the eye. The first time ordinary people see it, they will be scared to death. Not only did Xiaozhi not recognize it, but he also recognized its true identity under the disguise of the girl ghost. Okay, I agree. Please give me more advice in the future, Xiaozhi. If you can, please let me out from time to time. Continuing the urban legend of Maiden Gap, I don't want people to forget this Stephanie. No problem. Ghastly, you are welcome to join. Xiaozhi happily extended his hand. Ghastly controlled the gas that made up his body and pulled out an illusory hand to hold Xiaozhi's hand. Then he took the initiative to get into a blank Pokeball on Xiaozhi's waist. Pokemon, Ghastly level, for 61 ability, floating potential, elite level skills, hypnosis, spell, mean look, spite, shadow ball, etc. Intimacy, 225, full value 255, carrying items. Girl's silk scarf, exclusive to Ghastly, cannot evolve after being carried, greatly improves all attributes. Hypnosis skill modification. Looking at the luxurious panel of Ghastly, Xiaozhi called it a good guy. Just after being conquered, the level is 461. It has successfully entered the elite level and is currently the strongest Pokemon in the team. And the intimacy with myself is also very high, a full 225 points. As long as we get along for a while, reaching 255 points is just around the corner. And Ghastly was also the first Pokemon he conquered that came with its own carry-on items. Girl's Scarf. This also explains why Ghastly has not evolved after living for thousands of years. Carrying the Girl's Scarf provides a high full attribute bonus. This allows Ghastly to have power comparable to or even surpassing that of Gengar without having to evolve. Plus hypnosis aliénation. It can be said that for Ghastly, not evolving is a better choice. Fortunately, I completed the mission and got the information Ghastly wanted, so I was able to conquer him so easily. Otherwise, just by opening your mouth, you will be able to conquer a Pokemon that has grown to its peak. Almost impossible. Xiaozhi was even more excited at this moment than when he had conquered other Pokemon. Although the potential is quite high, Ghastly has fully grown up. It is a real-time combat force that can stand alone. Moreover, with elite Ghastly by his side, Xiaozhi no longer has any worries when fighting against Saffron City Gym. No matter how strong Sabrina is, he is not afraid of her anymore. Xiaozhi, congratulations. Misty then stepped forward to congratulate her. Although Ghastly simply hypnotized the Rockets trio, he did not show any more strength. But it is obvious that the talking Ghastly that Xiaozhi conquered is of a very high level. It is a rare and powerful Pokemon. Yeah, thank you Misty for accompanying me. The goal was achieved. Xiaozhi did not have the habit of hanging out in the middle of the night and returned to the hotel with Misty Pikachu. On the other side, after escaping, Xiaozhi and his team were left to face the girl ghost alone. The more they thought about it, the more uneasy they felt. After some discussion, they mustered up the courage to return to the place where they encountered the girl ghost, only to find that there was nothing there. Jesse Meowth, don't you think little Guaitu was captured by Ghost? James sounded a little panicked. I don't know, Meow, it should be so. Damn Ghost actually dared to capture little Ghost and the others. How can we rob Pikachu? James Meowth, didn't he make a lot of money in not CO Ramperchi? Take them all out and build a machine that can restrain Ghost. Save the little devil. No problem, Meow. After reaching an agreement, the three members of Team Rocket immediately split up and took action. Early on the second day, the trio spent huge sums of money to build the machine that was about to be completed. Looking at the harbor in the distance, Xiaozhi and his party, 2 people and 1 mouse, fell into deep thought. Little Guaitu is okay. Our machine can't be built anymore. We're already here. How can we stop? Then drive it to catch ghost Pokemon and sell them for money. That's right. Meow, Xiaozhi is unclear about what the Rockets trio are doing. After boarding the boat, I was holding a copy of Pokemon research materials and was looking at it intently. Xiaozhi, what are you looking at? I'm looking at the time and path of the breeding and migration of Butterfree in the Kanto region. Xiaozhi held up the non-existent frame. Chapter 67. Find a wife for Butterfree and refuse to let him go. In the original plot, Xiaozhi and his party were on a seaside cliff on the way to Saffron City. Spotted Butterfree flock flying south. There, Butterfree met his goddess, Pink Butterfree. Mapping to the real Pokemon world, there are too many places that meet the requirements. If you want to lock on the target, you need to use some skills. It is necessary to read the research reports on the migration and reproduction of Butterfree in the Kanto region in recent years. By analyzing the data, Xiaozhi delineated several places on the map where they were most likely to encounter migrating Butterfree groups. After the ship docked, the groups set off. On the way, Xiaozhi did not forget to develop a relationship with his own Flash Black Seahorse. By the way, you can improve its exercise plan and improve its level step by step. Horsia, which only has 422, is still a bit weak. However, being low level also has advantages of being low level. That is, when fighting against Pokemon in the wild whose levels are generally not high, the efficiency of gaining combat experience is not low. By the time the group arrived at the location designated by Xiaozhi, Horsia had already upgraded 3 levels in a row, reaching level 25. Of course, it is still a little short of evolving into Seadra. Influenced by Xiaozhi, he spent most of the time traveling with Xiaozhi in the original plot. Misty, who rarely trains her own Pokemon, also rolled up. Based on my own opinions, I asked Xiaozhi for advice and improve the training plan. In addition, from time to time, he also commands his own Pokemon to fight against wild Pokemon. The strength of the Pokemon in the team has also steadily improved. There has always been little sense of existence, and a somewhat soy-faced Goldeen evolved into Seaking. Squirtle's younger brother, influenced by the evolution of Xiaozhi Squirtle. It also evolves into Wartortle after reaching the required level. Starmie has enhanced the hit rate of her water-type skill. There is no improvement in level. As for the Horsia given to her by Xiaozhi in Lamperky City, the improvement can be said to be the largest. But it has no special training plan. Instead, I exercise with Xiaozhi's Flash Horsia. Although the intensity of the exercise is much lower due to qualifications, it is still very rewarding. During the time they spent together day and night, the relationship between the two little guys was also cultivated quite well. Xiaozhi tested it and found that the ability of Misty's Horsia was also that of Snipe Shot. I just let it go and let it exercise with Flash Horsia. If it was leisurely and comfortable, we couldn't let it act like this. Pokemon with different abilities have different training focuses. Don't generalize. Along the way, you encounter Pokemon with a slightly higher level. Xiaozhi sent Pidgeotto to respond to the enemy. I want Pidgeotto to accumulate combat experience as soon as possible, upgrade to 436, and evolve into a Pidgeotto. It's a pity that it was still a little bit worse after all. There are really not many high-level Pokemon in the wild in this area. Come out, Pidgeotto. Come out, Butterfree. After arriving at the chosen location, Xiaozhi and Misty first set up the tent and prepared to stay here for several days. Then Pidgeotto and Butterfree were released from the Pokeball. Pidgeotto, you fly fast. Look for any traces of Butterfree migration within dozens of kilometers nearby. When the Butterfree group migrates and reproduces, it will release a special pheromone. Butterfree, if you notice it, please tell me. Xiaozhi ordered Pidgeotto and Butterfree. Pidgeotto, Butterfree responded one after another, and then they each rose into the air and went to do things according to Xiaozhi's instructions. About half an hour later, Pidgeotto flew back from outside. Tell Xiaozhi, who is helping other Pokemon to train. It flew hundreds of kilometers and found no trace of the Butterfree tribe's migration. Not long after, Butterfree gave the same answer. It doesn't detect pheromones. Xiaozhi nodded. It seems that they haven't migrated here yet. Research data shows that the migrating Butterfree people mainly come from the Viridian Forest. The annual migration time is around this week. Now it seems that the Butterfree tribe in Viridian Forest haven't had time to fly here yet. Still need to wait some more time. Xiaozhi, get up. Butterfree is flying over from the mainland. On the morning of the third day of staying here, Misty woke up Xiaozhi, who was still sleeping, and said to him excitedly, "This morning, Misty used the Pokemon Food Maker and Food Maker to make breakfast for everyone. I saw a dark cloud flying towards me from a distance. After using a telescope, I discovered that the dark clouds were actually made of Butterfree. Thinking of the purpose of the group's stay here, they immediately ignored breakfast and woke up Xiaozhi quickly. Finally come. Xiaozhi stood up like a carp. I got dressed in a few moments and rushed out of the tent without even bothering to wash up. At this time, the Butterfrees were seen migrating from the inland towards this direction like a normal person covering the sky. Head to the distant and warm south to breed. On the way, from time to time, male Butterfree flies a special love dance to woo the female Butterfree. Xiaozhi expands the sensing range of the Waveguide Power to the maximum. Afraid that the naked I wouldn't be able to react, Butterfree's wife was let go. Butterfree's waveguides passed through each other within Xiaozhi's perception range. Suddenly, there was a waveguide that was slightly different from other Butterfrees that caught Xiaozhi's attention. Looking closely, it was a pink Butterfree, surrounded by many enthusiastic males around him. He flew to the south of the Temple Sea. You are the one. Butterfree, do you want a wife? See that pink Butterfree? Bring it back. Xiaozhi released his Butterfree. Then he pointed at the pink Butterfree, who was being courted by many male Butterfrees in the distance. Butterfree flew up excitedly and drove away all the other attentive male Butterfrees. Danced a courtship dance around the pink Butterfree. Maybe it's because Xiaozhi's Butterfree potential is not only intact. On the contrary, he is even better because he has used the potential-enhancing ribbon, Iron. In addition, Butterfree's level is now high enough and her strength is strong enough. In the entire Butterfree world, he is also considered to be a rich, handsome person. Pink Butterfree does not have the initial dislike in the original plot. Instead, he happily accepted Xiaozhi Butterfree's courtship. Immediately, I wanted to kidnap Xiaozhi's Butterfree and move them together to a warmer place in the south. Xiaozhi's Butterfree is not happy to leave like this. Compared with his wife, Xiaozhi, the trainer, is more important. A tackle knocked Pink Butterfree unconscious. He transformed into a gangster who robbed a girl and brought the Pink Butterfree back. Xiaozhi, don't be as rude as Butterfree in the future. Misty stretched out her finger and poked Xiaozhi gently. How could it be possible? I am the most reasonable person. Misty, do you want to tame this Pink Butterfree? Forget it. This Pink Butterfree is so rare. It's Xiaozhi again. You Butterfree found a wife. Xiaozhi, you should take control of her yourself. Misty was a little moved, but still shook her head and rejected Xiaozhi's proposal. Xiaozhi nodded, took out a blank baby ball, and conquered the Pink Butterfree. Pokemon, Butterfree, Flash Color. Level, IV-18 Potential, Elite Ability. Compound Eyes Skills. Tackle, Gust, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, etc. What to carry? None Intimacy, 140. Full Value, 255. Elite Level Potential, although not bad among the Butterfree group. But on Xiaozhi's side, except for Flash, everything else is mediocre. But after all, she is looking for a wife for Butterfree, and she doesn't need to be the main Pokemon breeder. It doesn't matter, because he already carried 6 Pokemon. Pink Panda was captured and teleported to Professor Oak's laboratory. Alright, Butterfree, come back. When you get to Saffron City, I'll take you back to the laboratory. Remember to spend some time with Pink Butterfree and give birth to more babies. Xiaozhi also put his Butterfree back into the Pokeball, although the Butterfree tribe in Viridian Forest is used to going south to breed. But in fact, the Kanto region is not impossible. Professor Oak's laboratory is even more well-equipped, and there is also Professor Oak, an expert. It can be said that there is no place more suitable for breeding and habitat than there. After subduing the Pink Butterfree and refusing to release his own Butterfree, Xiaozhi's mind became much clearer. Release Master? From now on, please call me Dream Master Xiaozhi. Chapter 68. Friends of Bug-type, Pidgeotto evolves. Ding. Without releasing the animals, Help Butterfree successfully courted the Pink Butterfree. Complete the mission and receive the reward. Potential Enhancement Ribbon, Bronze, exclusive to Butterfree. After use, Butterfree's potential can be increased from quasi-elite level to elite level. The proper rewards have been distributed to the system space and can be taken out at any time. Once taken out, they cannot be put back again. Reward, Title Bug-type Friend. After wearing the title, wild Bug-type Pokemon will be more likely to like you. At this time, Xiaozhi also received a prompt message that the system task was completed. When no one was paying attention, Xiaozhi turned over and took out the Potential Enhancement Ribbon, Bronze, Butterfree Exclusive Edition in the system space. The Pokemon ball shape is different from the previously used Potential Enhanced Ribbon, Iron. This potential enhances the ribbon's shape, similar to that of a butterfly. The color is no longer the iron gray before, but dark copper. The texture when touched in the hand is like gold but not gold, like jade but not jade, and is extremely bright and moist. Likewise, there are 2 ribbons below the ribbon. Xiaozhi made a thought and used this Butterfree's exclusive potential to enhance the ribbon. I saw that the potential ribbon in my hand was increasing like ice cubes melting in the sun, turning into little stars that only Xiaozhi could see. 27 They gather outside Butterfree's Pokemon ball, absorbing water like a sponge and sinking into it. Pokemon, Butterfree, Potential, Quasi-Elite Elite, after using Ribbon. Butterfree's potential finally reached the elite level like Xiaozhi's main Pokemon. The only one who has a crotchless body right now is Krabby, who was teleported to Professor Oak's laboratory just after being subdued. It's just the gym level. Of course, a little Squirtle that I had conquered before. The Pink Butterfree that I just conquered is not included. The three Squirtle brothers have now become members of the Pallet Town Fire Department under the arrangement of Professor Oak. Although he is busy, his life is very fulfilling, and he is also popular among the townspeople. They were very happy doing it themselves. I don't want to go back to being the Squirtle Corps and causing mischief everywhere. As for Flash Butterfree, she is Xiaozhi Butterfree's companion and is also not a battle pet. Strictly speaking, Xiaozhi is not their trainer. Just use the baby ball to conquer them and provide them with a home. He can barely be considered a breeder. As for the Bug-type friend title awarded in the second task, Xiaozhi also wore it right away. It will become more popular with wild Bug-type Pokemon in the future. There is no upper limit for wearing the title. Xiaozhi just hopes that the more title rewards in the future, the better. When all kinds of buffs are added up, he will be completely different from ordinary trainers. Pokemon are so much better than other Pokemon. As a trainer, Xiaozhi shouldn't be too overwhelmed, right? At present, Xiaozhi already has two kinds of extraordinary calendar areas: primary Waveguide Power and primary Psychic. Two Friends of the Sea titles can be favored by the sea. A Friend of Bug-type title, which increases the favorability of wild Bug-type Pokemon towards him. A reversal of Chinga's badge, which improves the harmony of the harem and never fast-forwards to the hatchet plot. A primary affinity halo that increases the favorability of wild Pokemon, including mythical beasts, by 10%. Plus the built-in Mega True rookie physique and bonus intermediate fighting skills. It's not an ordinary trainer by any stretch of the imagination. During the Pokeball, Butterfree felt a warm current rising within her body. The contest condition of the whole butterfly has never been better. Having been used by Xiaozhi to enhance his potential ribbon, Iron, he immediately understood the source of this warm current. The gratitude I feel towards Xiaozhi is beyond words. That is to say, the maximum intimacy level can only reach 255 points. Otherwise, Xiaozhi will perform an explosive performance every minute. After settling Butterfree's major life issues, Xiaozhi and his party set off. The next goal is to challenge the saffron-colored Sabrina. With 461 Elite Ghastly here, defeating Sabrina head-on is not a big problem. But how to get her back to normal is a problem. After much deliberation, Xiaozhi could only adopt a method that had been verified by the original plot. I plan to go to Lavender Town first to find the three Haunter brothers who like to be funny. He has no cure for autism in Yandere. Professional things should be left to professional ghosts. On the way to Lavender Town, Xiaozhi did not forget to train his Pokemon and focused on leveling up Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto, give a final kick. 2.5 days later, in a woods, Xiaozhi commands Pidgeotto to fight against a wild Nidoking. After a fight, the opponent was successfully defeated. Nidoking's level is very high, reaching LV 36. It could be considered a small totem in this forest. After defeating Nidoking, Pidgeotto finally accumulated enough combat experience. Pokemon, Pidgeotto level for 35, LV 36. The moment he reached the level, Pidgeotto also burst out with a dazzling light of evolution. Finally evolved. Xiaozhi thought to himself. At the same time, I also noticed the gap between elite Pokemon and champion Pokemon. You know, Pikachu accumulated combat experience very quickly back then. It didn't take long to raise the level to LV 39. As for Pidgeotto, who has elite potential, his level improvement speed at this stage is relatively much slower than 690 words. It can only be said that although elite's potential is not weak, it still has to be compared with someone. Compared to normal Pokemon, Pidgeotto's improvement speed can be said to have improved by leaps and bounds. You know, many trainers' Earl Dervish Pokemon are in the second or even third year of travel in order to reach Pidgeotto's current level. But compared with Pikachu's championship potential, it is more than a little bit behind. I hope that I can get more potential-enhancing ribbons in the future and raise the potential of other Pokemon in the team from elite level to champion level. Increase the efficiency of obtaining combat experience otherwise. I want to fully tap the potential of so many Pokemon in the team. Make them elite level. The time it takes is not as much as normal. Suppressing his thoughts for the time being, Xiaozhi focused on Pidgeotto, who was shrouded in the light of evolution. Also staring intently were Pikachu and Misty. Apart from Butterfree and Flash Gyarados, this should be the third Pokemon in Xiaozhi's hands to evolve to its full form. In the spotlight, the light of evolution shrouding Pidgeotto changed. It is different from the evolution of other Pokemon in the past. At that moment, it was several times more dazzling than before. Pikachu and Misty breathed a little faster. Is something wrong? Chapter 69. Jin Jia La Bai Diao. Increased carrying capacity, there is indeed a problem, but it is developing for the better. Under the light of evolution, Pidgeotto's figure gradually lengthened and became larger. After a while, the light of evolution dissipated. A majestic raptor with an erect height of more than 2.5 meters and a wingspan of nearly 10 meters appeared in front of everyone. Sharp and powerful claws, a hard-pointed beak, and a powerful dual wing beat. Totally soaring in the sky totem. It gives people a sense of oppression. Pokemon, Pidgeot Golden Koala version, level, LV36 potential, elite level ability, strong chest muscles. Skills, gust, quick attack, whirlwind, agility, etc. Intimacy, 255, full value 255, what to carry? None. The Bai Jiao that has evolved after eating the golden food is different. In addition to his body shape, Bai Jiao stands out from the rest compared to the normal ones. Even Misty, a trainer who specializes in water-type Pokemon, was very moved when she saw it. After completing the evolution, the Bai Jiao was extremely excited, and a strong wind blew up as its powerful wings flapped. The surrounding trees rustled, and leaves fell to the ground. Several small trees as thick as bowls were swaying in the wind, looking like they were about to break at any time. Congratulations, Bidiao. Xiaozhi is quite satisfied with the evolved Baijiao. They looked around the eagle from left to right, and even touched the opponent's bright head feathers that extended from the back of the head to the tail, almost longer than the body. The fierce-looking raptor Bidiao not only did not have the anger that he should have after being offended. Instead, he cooperated and tilted his head towards Xiaozhi to make it easier for him to get started. So beautiful! Pika Pika! Misty and Pikachu also came forward and imitated Xiaozhi's movements and touched her. Bai Jiao pointed to his back with the tip of his wing, motioning for Xiaozhi and others to sit up. Misty, Pikachu, let's go. Xiaozhi didn't care that it was his first time riding a flying Pokemon, nor that it was also his first time riding a man. If it really doesn't work, he still has Psychic to back him up, so nothing will happen to him. With two people and a mouse on their backs, the competition was effortless. As soon as the dual wing beat vibrates, it rises up easily. Soar into the sky with Xiaozhi Misty Pikachu. At first, I was worried that the wind would be too strong and I didn't dare to move forward at full speed. Later, it was discovered that Xiaozhi used Psychic to form a barrier, blocking all the hurricanes outside the barrier. I just let myself go, showed Xiaozhi Misty Pikachu what Sturm UND Drang is. Mach 2.6. On a whim, Xiaozhi used the Pokemon Pokédex as a speedometer to test Bai Jiao's speed. The results surprised him. Off the charts. The normal maximum speed of the Bai Jiao is only Mach 2. Xiaozhi's Bai Jiao is equipped with 2 people and a Pikachu. The speed still reached Mach 2.6. If the weight is removed, it is even possible to reach Mach 3. In Xiaozhi's previous life, he was much faster than those supersonic fighter jets. It's so out of this world. The effect of Jean Jaila's feed is even better than Xiaozhi imagined. In addition, Xiaozhi had previously used a magical speed potion on Bai Jiao when he was still in the Pidgeotto period, increasing his speed by 10%. The interaction between the two produces an effect of 1 + 1 greater than 2. It is foreseeable that when encountering Pokemon of the same flying type in the future, Xiaozhi's Bai Jiao will have a crushing advantage in terms of speed. Come and go without saying a word. Oh my god, Mach 2.6. At this time, Misty saw Xiaozhi's eyes falling on the Pokemon Pokédex. Curiously, he put his head over and was startled. Is this the speed a Pokemon can achieve? It's too fast. And this was measured while Bai Jiao was carrying 2 people and Pikachu. It's hard to imagine how fast Bai Jiao can be when traveling lightly. She originally thought that Bai Jiao was much larger than its normal counterpart, although it was not bulky. But the speed will be affected to some extent. Who would have known that Pity Jado didn't look very impressive when he was conquered by Xiaozhi in Viridian Forest? After careful training by Xiaozhi, he became so good after evolving into Baijiao. Misty feels more and more that Xiaozhi is a treasure boy who can bring different kinds of accidents and surprises to others every day. Okay, Baijiao, take us up. Xiaozhi touched Baijiao's red head feathers. After flying for so long, Baijiao, who was having enough fun, responded. Then he landed on the ground with 2 people and 1 mouse. It's so exciting. Pika Pika, until Pidgeot was taken back into the Pokeball by Xiaozhi. Both Misty and Pikachu were a little bit stunned. Well, there will be many opportunities to experience it in the future. Now it's time to set off. Xiaozhi smiled and gave 1 person and 1 mouse a headache. Invite them to pack their things, pack their bags, and set off for Lavender Town. Lavender Town is located not far from Saffron City and has been abandoned for a long time because the 3 Haunter brothers lived there for a long time. Therefore, there are many horrifying urban legends, and few people dare to approach them on weekdays. Xiaozhi, who has been with Ghastly for thousands of years, is brave enough to thank the trainer on the roadside for his kind reminder. I took Misty to Lavender Town. Misty, if you are afraid, you can wait for me in Saffron City first. Xiaozhi looked at Misty, whose fair and slender legs were shaking like chaff, and suggested, "Ooh, who is scared? It's just that the wind is strong tonight, and I'm a little cold." Misty grabbed Xiaozhi's sleeves tightly, lifted her legs as soft as noodles, and said harshly without giving up. Xiaozhi was not surprised by her answer. In this case, being timid and stubborn is the truest portrayal of the Tsundere Misty. After Misty had SX, her whole body was soft except for her mouth, which was hard. Okay, Misty, you're not afraid. Follow me later and don't get lost, because Lavender Town is so big, even with waveguides. It is not easy to find the 3 Haunter brothers who are deliberately hiding in such a large town. So Xiaozhi did not release his elite-level Ghastly. I was just afraid that the 3 Haunter brothers would be scared away and difficult to find. The best way to find the 3 Haunter brothers is to lure the snake out of its hole. With their fun-loving character, Lavender Town, which has not been visited by outsiders for a long time, suddenly has some new faces. I won't be able to bear it. Sure enough, not long after entering Lavender Town, Xiaozhi felt 3 somewhat cold waveguides. Obviously a Pokemon from the Go series. They should be the 3 brothers Ghastly, Haunter, and Jengar. The 3 brothers were getting together, discussing how to play tricks on Xiaozhi, Misty, and Pikachu. Ding! Trigger the mission. The Lonely Ghost system. Please get the approval of the 3 Haunter brothers. Mission completion reward. Pokemon carry slot +1. Chapter 70. Conquering the 3 Haunter brothers. The magical use of Hypnosis Pokemon carrying position +1. For such a mission reward, the 3 Haunter brothers, Xiaozhi, recognize you. The moment he saw the description of the task reward, Xiaozhi immediately became energetic. Now, he really has some headaches about the upper limit of the number of Pokemon he can carry with him. I'm still thinking about whether to activate the Give Me Face skill and ask Alliance to expand it for him. Unexpectedly, the pillow came right after I fell asleep. After you expand one by completing system tasks, you can then find a way to use the Give Me Face skill to get 1 or 2 from Alliance. That will solve an urgent need. Xiaozhi silently accepted the task, and then noticed the abnormal movement of the 3 waveguides. He stopped and grabbed Misty, who was following him. What's wrong? Pick up. Misty and Pikachu were still a bit unresponsive. Sure, they're coming. Almost accompanied by Xiaozhi's words. 610. 3 grimaces appeared in front of 2 people and 1 mouse. Pikapi. Even though Xiaozhi reminded them, Misty and Pikachu were shocked by the unexpected situation. The electric bag on Pikachu's cheek is surging with electricity, and he is ready to treat the other party to eat some 100,000 volt to whet his appetite. The 3 brothers were very satisfied with Pikachu and Misty's reaction. However, Xiaozhi's calmness surprised them. Misfortune, Gigi. The 3 brothers looked at each other with big eyes and small eyes, seeming to wonder why Xiaozhi was not afraid of them. But the doubts only lasted for a short time, and then they were forgotten. It's better not to be afraid of them, so that you can better appreciate their funny art. With this in mind, the three Haunter brothers started their funny show. It's nothing more than making faces, clowning, and winking. Ha! Pikapi! Misty and Pikachu were so amused by their performance. The fear of meeting the three Haunter brothers for the first time was completely gone. The three Haunter brothers performed with great effort, and their expectant eyes fell on Xiaozhi's face. But he was disappointed to find that the expression on Xiaozhi's face remained unchanged. This made the three Haunter brothers a little discouraged. Aren't they funny? Jijiji. Haunter floated in front of Xiaozhi and wanted to ask Xiaozhi for an explanation. He watched the entire performance like this without any change in his expression. It makes them lose face. Xiaozhi really wanted to smile cooperatively. But I have experienced various short video baptisms in my previous life. The performance of the three Haunter brothers is just like a spring festival gala sketch in the end of the Dharma era. Perhaps for him, a southerner, the funniest thing is the phrase, "Let's make dumplings together during the Chinese New Year." Although he could see that the other party was already working very hard on his performance and trying very hard to make him, the audience, laugh. However, I just couldn't get his point of laughter. Facing Haunter, who asked for an explanation, Xiaozhi silently released his Ghastly. The three Haunter brothers were startled by Xiaozhi's sudden release of Ghastly. Although Ghastly has not evolved, the pressure on them is not as great as normal. If Ghastly had been with Xiaozhi before, they wouldn't have dared to jump out and scare people. However, before they even thought of escaping, they were immersed in the illusion created by Ghastly using hypnosis. Xiaozhi uses waveguides and psychic to instill content images into the mind of Millennium Ghastly. With its hypnosis, classic sketches such as Tom and Jerry skits and kidnapping can be restored. I saw the three Haunter brothers immersed in the fantasy short film, unable to extricate themselves. Smiling is called selflessness, completely disregarding the feelings of outsiders. Xiaozhi resisted the urge to wake up the three Haunter brothers and ask them about the elders of the Soul Palace. Pikapi, are they crazy? Pikachu stood on Xiaozhi's shoulder and tilted his head. Xiaozhi, is it okay to stick to them? Misty quietly pulled Xiaozhi's sleeve, looked at the three Haunter brothers who were faintly smiling, and asked, "It's okay. I'm just addicted to the internet. Just disconnect from the internet." Ghastly. Xiaozhi snapped his fingers. Millennium Ghastly immediately stopped hypnosis with understanding. Yeah. Just when they saw the excitement, the three Haunter brothers, who worked hard to learn the super funny techniques in a short film, immediately became unhappy. Came to Xiaozhi to urge him to update. Ding, your funny art has been recognized by the three Haunter brothers. Get mission reward. Pokemon carrying slot +1. Current number of carrying slots is 7. Xiaozhi's eyes flashed with joy after receiving the system reward prompt. Yes, those memories of past lives are indeed a valuable asset, no matter where they go. I just made some funny short films and got the approval of the three Haunter brothers and got the mission reward. You mean you want to learn the art of comedy from me? Yeah, but don't want to fight? Yeah. Okay, just follow if you like. I'll find a good place for you. You three brothers might even be able to form a drama skit troupe by then. After some conversation, Xiaozhi, who understood the other party's thoughts, agreed. Originally, he was planning to use the update to trick the three Haunter brothers into temporarily following him and helping him restore Sabrina to normal. Unexpectedly, the three Haunter brothers were the first to offer to follow him, provided that the three of them would not participate in the battle. I also hope that Ghastly can show them some funny videos to learn from time to time. The family does not raise Pokemon as the main force, but Xiaozhi only works as a breeder. There are already several Pokemon. There are no less than 3 of them on the left and right. In addition, we will need them next, and they're also very good at comedy. Xiaozhi simply agreed. If we work hard in the future, maybe we can organize a Haunter repertory theater company in Pallet Town. After discussing the matter, Xiaozhi threw the Pokeball and subdued the 3 Haunter brothers. Then Haunter stayed and occupied Xiaozhi's newly added carrying position. Ghastly and Jengar teleported to Professor Oak's laboratory first. Xiaozhi plans to let Haunter go back and reunite with the other 2 brothers after completing Sabrina's mission. Misty Pikachu was a little curious about what Xiaozhi had just asked the Millennium Ghastly to put on the three Honor brothers to make them bow. I immediately pestered Xiaozhi to try out 1.4. The laugh point is so low that even the funny performances of the three Honor brothers can make her slash them laugh out loud. Misty and Pikachu, falling into ha-ha-ha mode throughout. Seeing that one person and one mouse were showing signs of internet addiction, Xiaozhi immediately interrupted the spell casting. I resorted to my parents' traditional skill, unplugging the network cable. Promise that if one person and one mouse behave well in the future, they will watch short videos again. However, the final right of interpretation belongs to Xiaozhi. Like an unscrupulous profiteer, Misty and Pikachu didn't notice this pitfall, but were happily looking forward to watching videos online next time. Xiaozhi, who has experienced thousands of years of Ghastly being used for other purposes besides fighting. I feel more and more how precious the silk scarf left behind by the girl is. Hypnosis, which has been alienated to this extent, is really a good thing. Taking the new Honor with him, Xiaozhi and his team went straight to Saffron City. A beautiful photo of Misty is attached. Chapter 71. Xiaozhi's Psychic, Sabrina. Loli doll, are you going to challenge the trainer of Saffron Gym? With all due respect, it's impossible with just the two of you. Xiaozhi and his party came to Saffron City and rested for a night at the Saffron City Pokemon Center. After giving Pikachu and the others a full body recovery, they headed to the Saffron Gym. Not far from the Saffron Gym, I was stopped by an uncle wearing a hat. Pikachu felt a little unhappy when his uncle looked down on Xiaozhi and himself. Oh, this Pikachu looks very good, and its level is quite high. It's just that I still said the same thing. It's impossible to challenge Nappa. Her psychic is invincible. When Pikachu was emotional, a trace of electricity surged in the Electra bag on his cheek, leaking a little breath. Uncle Hat realized that Xiaozhi's Pikachu was not weak. On the contrary, it was quite strong. Even among the main Pokemon of all gym trainers in the Kanto region, they are not considered weak. It is hard to imagine a rookie trainer who looks young and should have just started training this year to be able to own a Pikachu of such a high level. Look at Pikachu's age and how close he is to the other person. It doesn't look like it was prepared by the elders in the family. The future life is terrible, but even so, he didn't think Xiaozhi and Pikachu would be his daughter Sabrina's rival. She has shown extraordinary psychic talent since she was a child and has been training for so many years. Psychic is already as good as many Pokemon with super attributes. And because of Psychic's mystery, it is even more difficult for normal Pokemon to deal with her. Okay, Uncle, I also understand what happened at the Saffron City Gym many years ago. Your Saffron City Gym leader Sabrina's dad, right? Don't worry. I will defeat Sabrina and return her to normal. Xiaozhi revealed the biggest secret in Uncle Hat's heart with just one word. The expression on his face suddenly became vicissitudes of life, and he sighed. I didn't expect that after so many years, there would still be people who remember what happened. Young man, I am very happy and grateful that you have such a heart. But it is too dangerous to challenge my daughter. Uncle Hat is about to start chatting mode, trying to persuade Xiaozhi, a young trainer who is enthusiastic about helping others, to give up the idea of challenging the Saffron Gym. When he came back to his senses, he found that Xiaozhi, Misty, Pikachu, two people, and one mouse had already entered the door of Saffron Gym. Uncle Hat slapped his forehead. Today's young people are really not cute at all. Do you understand that if you don't listen to the old man's words, you will suffer the consequences before your eyes? Follow them quietly and rescue them in time when you encounter danger. The tragedy of Sabrina's mother cannot be allowed to happen again to these two teenagers. With this thought in mind, Uncle Hat followed quietly. Xiaozhi, the inside of the Saffron Gym looks so eerie. It doesn't look like a gym, but a bit like a temple. Walking in the Saffron Gym, the cold feeling inside made Misty feel a little panicked. Indeed, the style of Saffron Gym is different from other gyms, Mikey. Xiaozhi nodded in agreement. Hey, are you two here to challenge the gym? At this time, a man in a white coat and a mask stopped the two of them. Yeah, what's wrong? Misty nodded. I advise you to leave as soon as possible. People without psychic are not qualified to defeat the gym owner. The man in the white coat and mask seemed disdainful, but in fact he kindly advised Xiaozhi and the two to leave. He is a psychic lover in Saffron City, but the psychic he was born with is too weak. He thought about studying here with Sabrina, but was taken in by the autistic Sabrina as a subordinate to assist in the management of the gym. While helping to manage the gym, he saw too many trainers who were trapped in dollhouses because they failed to challenge Sabrina. Since then, he has seemingly unintentionally received more challengers. That's what psychic is like. With that said, the man in the white coat and mask showed a wave of his psychic to the two of them. I saw him take out a metal spoon. His face turned red from suppressing it, and he managed to make the spoon bend in an arc that was almost imperceptible to the naked eye. The next moment, he found that the spoon came out of his hand uncontrollably and floated quietly in Xiaozhi's open palm. The shape keeps changing according to Xiaozhi's wishes, either round or flat. It is finally rolled into an extremely smooth metal ball. This boy is actually a psychic, and he is so much stronger than me. The man in the white coat and mask was quite shocked. Psychics are extremely rare, except for the owner Sabrina and her family. This is the first time he has seen other psychics besides himself, and they are much weaker than him. Although it was also the first time for Misty to see Xiaozhi showing psychic in front of her. But with the support of the previous Waveguide, his performance was better than that of the man in the white coat and mask. Since you, the challenger, are also a psychic, then give it a try. I need to remind you that if you fail the challenge, you will be turned into a doll. The man in the white coat and mask gave the last kind reminder, but his whole body was lifted by a wave of blue confusion. His face turned red, his eyes turned outward, and he was almost suffocating. Mr. Hall Master, I was wrong. The man in the white coat and mask knew that he reminded the challenger too much today, which had aroused the dissatisfaction of Junatu. Okay, Sabrina, let's begin our challenge. Xiaozhi calmly used his psychic to rescue the man in the white coat and mask. Although his primary psychic is much inferior to Sabrina's, but she can still barely compete with her using only a small amount of psychic. After the man in the white coat and mask was rescued, he gasped for air. He glanced at Xiaozhi with gratitude and blessing. I hope this boy will not fail the challenge and become a doll. Have you thought about it? If you lose, you could become a doll and stay with me to play with. At this time, Sabrina spoke, her voice sounding a little Yandere. No, it was probably the lowly doll in her hand that was modeled after her when she was a child that spoke. Li Nua Zhao. As for herself, she was sitting on a cold seat holding the lowly doll. Dark green long hair, bangs. His facial features are exquisite, but his eyes are cold and emotionless. The weirdest thing was the lowly doll she was holding. The appearance is no different from that of humans, but the eyes are strange and scary. When opening and closing the mouth, the movements are also a little stiff, kind of like a spell doll from a horror movie. The mission requirement is to defeat Sabrina head-on, so Xiaozhi naturally has no reason to give in. Bring your horses over here. With that said, he released 61's elite Ghastly. The moment Ghastly appeared, the air in the venue seemed to freeze, and the temperature seemed to drop by several 10 degrees. It makes one's hair stand on end. That is, Elite Lethal Ghost Pokemon Young. At this moment, Uncle Hat is quietly following Xiaozhi and his party, ready to rescue them at any time. There was like a huge drum beating in his mind, and his pupils suddenly shrank to the size of a wheat awn. Chapter 72, Rookie Trainer, Elite Gastly. The favor of the Yandere Sabrina, a rookie trainer. Holding an elite-level Pokemon? Is this world already so magical? The Hat Man was messy in the wind, and his expression was so shocked that he was stiff. In the middle of the field, the empty eyes of the lowly doll in Natu's hand became cold and stern. The cold and emotionless voice sounded again. Ghost Pokemon, it's useless. Psychic can't be defeated. As he spoke, a treasure ball half as big as its body appeared out of thin air in the puppet's hand. Then, an Abra appears in the battle arena. Pokemon, Abra level, IV-15. This is the lowest level Pokemon used by the gym leader that Xiaozhi has encountered since he set out to challenge the gym. However, Rival is supposed to be the strongest. The strong one is not Abra, but Sabrina, who attaches her psychic to Abra. It is similar to Emperor Xiangyang, who fought on behalf of Tiandao. Pokemon Yangjura level IV-59, different from the contempt in the original plot. At this time, Nadu has lent her psychic to Abra to the maximum extent. Not only did it temporarily evolve into Yangjara, but its level also soared to IV-59. It's just one step away from reaching elite level. This is also the limit that IV-16 Abra can withstand. If there were more, even if it was a super-type Pokemon, the body is very receptive to psychic, and problems can occur. IV-59 Yangjura vs 461. Ghastly Xiaozhi's eyes were as calm as autumn water. The elite level is accurate to elite, and the advantage lies in Russia. As long as Sabrina doesn't leave Yangjara alone and directly exit the game, this game will be crushed. Fortunately, he was prepared in advance and conquered the Millennium Ghastly of Maiden Gorge. Otherwise, if you want to defeat Sabrina's psychic cheating Yangjara head-on, Pikachu alone won't do it. Force Ghastly Shadow Ball. Xiaozhi didn't want to accompany the other party to play with you and me, but just turned up the volume when he came up. Fight quickly and avoid unforeseen setbacks. Sabrina, who is now self-isolated and still in the Yander contest condition, is too dangerous and too unstable. Like a powder keg ready to explode. If she didn't follow martial ethics and ended up directly in person, Xiaozhi can only activate the S-level secret. Shake People Sabrina's psychic is certainly strong. But compared with IV-80, the super ancient Dragonite is already comparable to the normal level 3 god. Not even a little bit worse. A gentleman does not stand on dangerous walls. Xiaozhi never puts himself in danger without being sure. Last night, the super ancient Dragonite arrived near Saffron City. As long as the waveguide left by Xiaozhi on it fluctuates slightly, it will come over immediately. And Xiaozhi has 461 Ghastly here, so it won't be a problem to hold on until the super ancient Dragonite arrives. Before reaching a friendly PY relationship with other mythical beasts, super ancient Dragonite was Xiaozhi's biggest trump card. Thoughts surged. On the field, Yangjura, who used confusion to test, was hit by Ghastly as soon as he started. Before he could react, he was beaten to the point of losing his ability to fight. Elite hits elite. Ghost-type fights Super-type. The starting hand is still a big move. If they can't kill instantly, Xiaozhi and Ghastly will stop hanging around. Go back to Palatown as soon as possible, start a drama troupe with the 3 Haunter brothers, and do some comedy art. I thought a war of the century was going to break out. Misty, Pikachu, the man in the white coat and the mask, and the man with the hat hiding in the dark are all ready with melon seeds and peanuts. Look at Yangjira, who was instantly killed in one encounter. Lennon was stunned. What just happened? Snap. Very soon, he claimed to be invincible, but he was defeated in an instant. Sabrina's reaction is intriguing. Psychic with the blessing removed. Less than a minute after receiving the experience card, IV-59 Yangjura degenerated and turned into V-15 Abra again. Hee. The mouth of the lowly doll in Sabrina's hand opened and closed stiffly. The sick and weird laughter echoed throughout the gym. The huge, substance-like, viscous psychic surges like a tide. It seems that the entire Saffron gym will be buried in endless darkness. Haunter, come on. After Sabrina was defeated by him head-on, the situation showed signs of developing into a plot. Xiaozhi threw Haunter's Pokeball directly. Want to interrupt spellcasting. At the same time, he pulled Misty to stand behind Ghastly. Be ready to rock the dragon at any time. Misfortunes comedy artist Haunter played his role well. Floating in front of the Yandere Sabrina, she winked and made a face. I don't know if it was a low-key laugh or if it really hit her. Grudge's doll-like lowly doll disappeared. The cold and Yandere Sabrina instantly turned into a funny girl. The emotions that had been closed off to me when I was a child burst out completely at this moment. The entire cold Saffron gym, with the return of Sabrina's emotions, seemed to melt away, and the cold feeling was no longer there. Sabrina, can you give me the Saffron badge first? It seemed that he was going to smile like he hadn't laughed in more than 10 years. Sabrina laughed for several minutes, and still showed no sign of stopping. Xiaozhi was deeply afraid that the other party would stop laughing and would have no place to receive his saffron badge. He walked forward and waved his hand in front of Sabrina's eyes. Only then did Sabrina come back to her senses. She reached out to cover her aching belly from laughing and handed the saffron badge to Xiaozhi. The tone is meaningful and thought-provoking. You actually defeated my psychic. Ghastly boy, you are very good. Xiaozhi, who used to be called Pikachu boy, twitched the corner of his mouth slightly when he heard this name. Am I not worthy of having my own name? Young man Ghastly, there's no need to call me Xiaozhi. Thank you for the golden chamber badge. Sabrina, you finally recovered. At this time, the Hat Man in the dark saw that Sabrina had returned to normal. With tears streaming down her face, she stepped forward to recognize Sabrina and her daughter. Later, Sabrina returned the challengers and mothers she had turned into dolls to normal. Sabrina's mother remains the same as she was before she was turned into a doll. In sharp contrast to the old man in the hat, who already showed his vicissitudes of life. Those who didn't know thought they were father and daughter. Xiaozhi looked on and called him a good guy. Sabrina's psychic, a complete freezing technology with no side effects. Go to a beautiful country in your previous life, and getting rich is not a dream. I don't know how many rich people want to stay young and come to the future to seek immortality. They all had to line up and turn into dolls while waving banknotes in tears. Ding! Mission accomplished. Defeat Sabrina head-on and return her to normal. Reward: Elementary Psychic, Intermediate Psychic, Sabrina Favorability. 090. Note: beware of Yandere. At this time, the reminder that the system task has been completed also sounded in my mind at the right time. Elementary Psychic is upgraded to Intermediate Psychic. Good thing. Sabrina's favorability level increases to 90. Probably, maybe it should be a good thing. Xiaozhi couldn't help but feel a little panicked when he saw the Yandere who had been specially reminded. On the other side, Sabrina and her family recognized each other. Uncle Hat warmly invited Xiaozhi Misty to stay as a guest and wanted to thank them both. During the dinner, Sabrina changed her previous aloofness and frequently toasted to Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi always felt that the other person's smile was hiding a knife, so he only used juice instead. Behind the banquet, there is nothing but the enthusiastic Napa family. Xiaozhi and Misty stayed overnight at the Saffron Gym. In the dead of night, Sabrina's body floated strangely, and she came from her room to Xiaozhi's room. When he left, a book titled How to Make Men Frustrated lay quietly on the table. The title page has been opened. The best way for a woman to make a man feel frustrated is to spoon. Chapter 73. My Master Xi was pushed by Sabrina? Because of Sabrina's abnormal behavior after being defeated, and because she was in the Saffron Gym at this time, Xiaozhi slept very alertly and woke up almost the first moment Sabrina arrived in the room. Hey, you're awake? Sabrina floated over like a ghost. Then he approached Xiaozhi with surprised eyes. This time it's me. I win. After an unknown amount of time, Sabrina forced her limp body to stand up. There was a hint of pride after winning on her delicate little face that still had some flushing aftertaste. Throwing a look at Xiaozhi like you're nothing more than that, he staggered out of the room. Sabrina, the super queen. Never be weaker than others in your life. Failure in the gym battle during the day was just an accident. Watching Sabrina leave, Xiaozhi just wanted to light a cigarette and be quiet. So, Sabrina, you came here in the middle of the night just to win a game. Playing a wife game for Misty now? Also, Xiaozhi thought that Misty was already the ceiling in the hard-talking world. She didn't expect someone to be braver than her. Do you have no idea what you will become in the end? You have to insist that you win. AQ's spiritual victory method, right? You are the king of strong mouth. Forced to work for most of the night, the outside world was already dark. Xiaozhi didn't think about the mess and went to sleep. The next morning, Misty woke up early after not sleeping well all night. She was having nightmares. Looking at the slightly messy bed, my little head is a bit exhausted. Are her and Xiaozhi's sleeping habits so different? Why haven't you noticed it before? Maybe it's to recognize the bed. After thinking about it, Xiao came up with a seemingly reasonable explanation. Get up from the bed, wash up, and wake up Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi Misty, take care on the road and come to Saffron City again when you have time. At the entrance of the Saffron City gym, Uncle Hat and Nata's mother waved goodbye to the two of them. Yeah, maybe next time. Because of what happened last night, Xiaozhi still feels a little unnatural when facing Uncle Hat and Sabrina's mother. I couldn't help but think about the safety of your downstairs house and other outrageous remarks. Strange, why did Miss Sabrina come to see Xiaozhi off? Wasn't she very enthusiastic at the dinner table yesterday? Misty picked off a green leaf that had floated on her head at some point and muttered in confusion. Xiaozhi remained silent, recalling the simple conversation with Sabrina when we met again in the morning. Although Xiaozhi is the passive party, what should be done has been done. He wanted to take responsibility and offer to travel with Sabrina, but was rejected by Sabrina. Let's wait and see when your psychic surpasses me. Before, we had one win and one loss, so it was even. Whenever you beat me again, I will listen to you. Sabrina forced her words and changed the score of 2 o'clock to 1 to 1 proposed to meet next time to show off. At this moment, there's another unfinished task lying there in Xiaozhi's task panel. Task description: raise the psychic level to master level and give Sabrina a few million points of shock from cheaters. Mission completion reward: MewtwoX Mega Evolution Stone title, superpower. When commanding psychic Pokemon, combat power increases by 10%. Sabrina's favorability is increased and the Yandere attribute is suppressed, will not engage in dangerous behavior towards her partner and people related to her partner. After receiving the mission, Xiaozhi remembered that although Sabrina seemed to be back to normal, she still had a Yandere attribute inside. Although he has the badge of reversal Chinga, he will never fast forward to the hatchet plot and his life will be safe. But Misty and the others didn't. What if he woke up one day and found that Misty had been F-ed by the jealous Sabrina? Then you shouldn't cry to death? He immediately gave up the idea of traveling with Sabrina. I won't give you a chance to be harsh next time we meet. Walking on the road, watching the back getting smaller and smaller until it turns into a little bit of Saffron City. Xiaozhi pursed his lips slightly and tightened his grip quietly. At the same time, Sabrina, who had been lying in bed almost all day, also dragged her limp body to the windowsill. I'm a super queen. Absolute. Won't lose. Get the saffron badge. So far, Xiaozhi has collected 4 badges. There are only 4 badges left of the 8 badges required to participate in the Kanto Conference. In the original plot, the remaining 4 badges collected are the rainbow badges from the Grass-type gym in Rainbow City. Fuchsia Gym Poison Type's Fuchsia Badge, Cinnabar Gym Fire Type's Volcano Badge, an Earth Badge from Jobin Gym Ground Type. Although in the Kanto region, there are other badge gyms that meet the requirements of the Indigo Plateau Conference. But compared with the gold content of these 4 gyms, is not even the slightest bit worse. Xiaozhi plans to follow the original plot and get the badges from these 4 gyms. Speaking of which, he also has a mission to obtain the Earth Badge with Xiaozhi as rival. It was triggered in Jobin City when I first started traveling. It's just that Xiaozhi was still too weak at that time and did not have the conditions to complete the task, even though the rewards are very generous. Mega Charizard X Evolution Stones and MewtwoX Earl Dervish's favorability increase. We can only put this task on the shelf for the time being. And now, Xiaozhi holds the 461 Elite Ghastly and the IV 50 Elite Pikachu. But there's a little bit of certainty. If Xiaozhi only brought out his 3 teams of Pokemon. Ding! To trigger the mission, please defeat 3 gyms in the order of Kaihong, Fuchsia, and Cinnabar. This picture is a chain mission. Complete the first stage of the mission and use the main Grass-type Pokemon to defeat the Rainbow Gym and obtain the Rainbow Badge. Mission reward: random Pokemon level +3, complete the second stage of the mission, and use the main Poison-type Pokemon to defeat the Fuchsia Gym and obtain the Fuchsia Badge. Mission reward: random Pokemon level +6, complete Phase 3 of the mission, and use the main Fire-type Pokemon to defeat the Cinnabar Gym and obtain the Volcano Badge. Mission reward: random Pokemon level +9. After all the chain tasks are completed, the highest level Pokemon level in the current team will be additionally awarded +3. What a 087 guy. Xiaozhi called him a good guy. This time, unlike in the past, a challenge mission for a single gym was triggered. Instead, a chain of tasks was triggered in one go. The rewards are no longer the other fancy ones, but rather simple and crude, increasing the level of Pokemon. It can be said that this is what Xiaozhi lacks most at present. The Pokemon he conquered all had outstanding talents and potential. But he has a fatal flaw. That is, the time for the trip is too short. Pokemon all take a certain amount of time to grow. Except for Ghastly and Pikachu, the highest level Flash Gyarados is only V45. Can you defeat the Viridian Gym with Giovanni as rival to get the Earth Badge? It all depends on whether Giovanni pays attention to it and the level of the Pokemon he sends. To be honest, Xiaozhi doesn't like this passive feeling. As for the serial tasks triggered now, the reward for completing them are simple and crude level promotions. It can be said that Xiaozhi is most satisfied. With these mission rewards, Xiaozhi usually works hard to level up. By then, maybe Giovanni can send out a second team of Pokemon to have a chance of fighting. It is impossible to face Xiaozhi, a newcomer who has just debuted. Giovanni just sends out his trump card team, maybe even Mewtwo. After the chain mission rewards came out, Xiaozhi's heart was ready to play Giovanni alone. I suppressed the little melancholy of parting with Sabrina in my heart. Holding Misty's hand, we rushed to our next destination, Rainbow City. Image: purple-haired Sabrina. Chapter 74. Named Mewtwo. Changing Pokemon. How is the situation outside recently? In a secret base of Team Rocket, Giovanni is sitting in a large boss chair. One hand inadvertently touched the head of Persian, lying obediently beside him. He asked the female secretary in a suit and OL uniform in front of him, "Boss, there are two Tianwu over there at Alliance. One is rookie trainer Xiaozhi, who sent Ma Zhisher to jail last time. Seems to have a close connection with a mysterious giant Dragonite. While in Lamperchi City, he summoned a giant Dragonite to confront a giant Tentacruel. Based on Alliance's official internal assessment, the strength of that huge Dragonite seems to have surpassed the championship level and is comparable to some legendary Pokemon. Now, Alliance officials attach great importance to Xiaozhi, the only connection between the two parties. The second is Saffron City Gym leader Sabrina, who seems to have returned to normal and is now living with her parents. Boss, will the boy named Xiaozhi and the Dragonite beyond our control pose a threat to our next plan? Do you want? Having said this, the female secretary stretched out her hand to wipe her throat. G0 Min's unloading Fei, and I will go and kowtow to the warehouse. AO2 and Huan Xingong are the huge Dragonite is certainly difficult to deal with, but if they are calculated mentally or not, the chances of getting rid of Xiaozhi as a threat are still very high. That giant Dragonite can't follow Xiaozhi 24 hours a day, right? As long as their hands and feet are clean. 937 and others have eliminated the only connection between Xiaozhi, the Alliance official, and the huge Dragonite. The huge Dragonite will not blame Team Rocket for this. Alliance also lost a huge potential boost from Dragonite. Giovanni shook his head. It's just a huge dragon. It can't change the situation of the battle at all. There's also a difference between legendary Pokemon and legendary Pokemon. Don't ignore the young man named Xiaozhi. In addition, I sent someone to contact Sabrina at the Saffron City Gym and asked her if she was interested in helping our Rockets. Our Rockets team is willing to offer a senior executive position. After Ma Zhisher entered, didn't his subordinates have no one to take care of them? If Sabrina is willing to join, Ma Zhisher's people will also be assigned to her. In addition, add some more from the training base to form an action team under the senior executive. It also saves the people under my command from fighting openly and secretly for this thing every day. Giovanni tapped his index finger on the large desk table nonchalantly. In just a few words, he made a plan that was enough to cause turmoil within Team Rocket. It's the boss. I'll arrange for someone to do it right now. As the leader behind the Rockets, Giovanni has strong authority in the Rockets. For now, no one dares to object to his will. Oh, very good. Giovanni nodded and then asked again, how is the experiment going on the new island? The experiment went well. Our Rocket's most powerful weapon will be born in a few days. Okay, I will be there in person when the time comes. The most powerful weapon created using Mew's genes will naturally surpass the original version. From now on, it will be called MewtwoX. Yes, boss. Team Rocket, what are the benefits of joining you? Saffron City Gym. Sabrina plays with the ends of a strand of hair. He looked at the middle-aged man wearing a Rocket's uniform in front of him with a playful tone. There are many benefits to joining our Rockets team. You can obtain various Alliance-restricted rare Pokemon and gain access to the financial resources within Team Rocket. Miss Sabrina, if you join, you can directly become a senior executive and form your own action team. Become the person second only to the leader in the Team Rocket organization. There will be no more than one senior executive at the same level as you. But Alliance treats you gym leaders much better. Middle-aged men are extremely capable of bewitching. Sounds good to me. A smile flashed across the middle-aged man's face. He knew that no one could refuse the Rocket's olive branch. However, Sabrina's next words made him lose control of his expression. But I refuse. Sabrina lowered her hair that was wrapped between her slender fingers and said in a cold tone, "Why? With all due respect, Alliance will never give us a higher bargaining chip than our Rockets." The middle-aged man still wanted to continue persuading. He came here with a military order. If he fails to complete the mission, he will go back. What greeted him was not only punishment, but also a drop in rank, CHBH, within the organization. This is unacceptable to him. Do you want me to say it a second time? Get lost. At this moment, Sabrina shows off her domineering power as a super queen. Psychic surges, causing a wave of terror. The middle-aged man flew out like a kite with a broken string, hit the far wall heavily, and slid down. If Sabrina hadn't intentionally held back, he would have become a broken mural. We as the Rockets have said this, and we hope you will behave accordingly. The middle-aged man clutched his aching chest and turned to leave. Team Rocket, maybe you were interested in going in and having fun before, but now, unexpectedly, a figure appeared in Sabrina's mind. The slender legs folded together unconsciously and were slightly tightened. I won't lose to you again next time we meet. Best of 3. I win. You are my only toy. On the other hand, because completing the challenge tasks of the next 3 gyms requires the use of Pokemon corresponding to the attribute. Xiaozhi came to a town on the way and exchanged a wave of Pokemon in his hands. Teleported Honor back and reunited him with the other 2 brothers in exchange for Bulbasaur. Flash Horsia was teleported back again and got Charmeleon. So far, Xiaozhi has challenged the Grass-type Rainbow Gym and Fire-type Cinnabar Gym's Pokemon. There is only one Pokemon left to challenge, the Poison-type Fuchsia Gym. Of all the Pokemon he has conquered, not one is a Poison-type. Bulbasaur has Poison-type, but it is a main plant with side poisons and does not meet the requirements. Ghastly has the same flaw. It's hard to deal with. Isn't it too late to tame a breeder now? Xiaozhi touched his chin in confusion. The main Poison-type Pokemon is easy to catch, but the ones with high potential and meeting its requirements are difficult to catch. Don't look at the fact that he currently has Pokemon with elite championship potential. I just thought that Pokemon of this level would be a bad thing outside. You know, most Pokemon trainers have been traveling for several years. The normal in hand can only have at most 1 or 2 Pokemon with elite and gym potential as trump cards. Otherwise, if everyone were like him, there would be so many trainers in the entire Kanto region. Isn't it true that elite is running around and champions are not as good as dogs? The fact is that a normal person can become an elite trainer after traveling for several years. It is already considered outstanding. The rarity of high-quality Pokemon, breeder difficulty, and required resource costs. These are all beyond the reach of normal people. A quasi-elite level family like Misty's family has been in the gym for generations and can be considered an upper class in the Kanto region. You can see the difficulty. And Xiaozhi is not willing to conquer a Pokemon that doesn't suit him just to challenge the gym. In this way, not only was he dissatisfied, but it was also unfair to the Pokemon he had conquered. Forget it. Let's see when the time comes. Maybe you can meet a satisfying main Poison-type Pokemon. Let's go through the Rainbow Gym first, and then get the rewards from the first stage. Chapter 75. The best Mystic Water, Poison main pet preparation, of course, to make sure nothing goes wrong. The levels of Bulbasaur and Charmeleon need to be raised a little higher. Next, there will be some leveling up. Xiaozhi thought to himself. He currently carries 6 Pokemon. They are 461. Ghastly, who carries the scarf left by the girl. IV-50, Pikachu carrying Light Ball. Flash Gyarados at LV-45, level 36. Abaijiao, who has used Gene, Litter Feed, and Speed Potion. LV-26, Charmeleon carrying the best Charcoal. LV-33, Bulbasaur, who carries the best Miracle Seed and used Speed Potion. As for Butterfree, it was teleported back to reunite with its wife when it was in Saffron City. The vacated carrying position is prepared by Xiaozhi for Mankey, who is about to join the team next. In the original plot, when Xiaozhi and his party left Saffron City and headed to Rainbow City, they met Mankey, who asked Xiaojiang for a rice ball. The latter Mankey also stole Xiaozhi's hat and evolved into Primeape because of Team Rocket's interference. After that, he defeated Squirtle, Bulbasaur 707, Seed, and other Pokemon one after another. In the end, he was defeated by the explosive Charmander and then joined the team. After leaving Rainbow City, he won the championship in the P1 fighting competition. Uncle Anthony, who was eventually won the fighting championship by Covet, asked for help on the grounds of helping with training. He never returned after that. When I saw this plot in my previous life, Xiaozhi almost suffered a cerebral hemorrhage from anger. A man who has abandoned his wife and children and struggled for so many years has never won a fighting championship. Licking his face, he looked for Primeape, who won the P1 fighting competition championship with his outstanding talent not long after Xiaozhi was subdued. He also said he would help with training. With Primeape's qualifications, do you need a useless training? It is simply misleading people purely to satisfy their own selfish desires. In the original plot, Xiaozhi was called a fool for no reason. Being stupid is really annoying to death. But now everything will be rewritten. Xiaozhi wanted to see if Anthony dared to lick his face and ask for Primeape. Ding! Trigger the system mission. Fight without using Pokemon. Defeat Mankey/Primeape with your personal strength and successfully conquer it. Task reward: top quality Mystic Water 1. After carrying this prop, the power of water-type skills is increased by 50%, and the effect of normal quality Mystic Water is 20%. Ding! Trigger the system task. Use the Fiery Monkey to participate in the P1 fighting competition and win the championship. During this period, Anthony, who abandoned his wife and son, was taught hard, was as thick-skinned as a city wall, and shamelessly begged for Primeape. Mission reward: a high-quality Nidoran clue. As he was thinking about it, 2 pieces of information suddenly passed through Xiaozhi's mind. However, the system released 2 more tasks. Xiaozhi suddenly became energetic. Abdominal tightening Mankey/Primeape, and teaching the shameless Anthony a lesson was what he was planning to do. Now there are mission rewards, which makes Xiaozhi full of motivation. The best Mystic Water is just right for Flash Gyarados to carry. It's just a pity that there is only 1 copy. In addition to Flash Gyarados, Xiaozhi also has 2 Water-type Pokemon, Wartortle and Flash Horsea. It would be nice to have 2 more portions. Of course, Xiaozhi wouldn't mind it if there were more. Wearing 2 Friends of the Sea titles, there's only 1 missing to combine into Son of the Sea. Increases combat power by 20% when commanding Water-type Pokemon in battle. In the future, Xiaozhi will inevitably conquer powerful Water-type Pokemon. No amount of Mystic Water is enough. The reward for using Primeape to participate in the P1 fighting competition and win the championship and teach Anthony a lesson is also quite good. High-quality Nidoran clues. Judging from the precedents of Golden Magikarp and Flash Horsea, high-quality Pokemon recognized by the system should have elite potential. Even if he doesn't have elite potential, he is at least a quasi-elite base player. He is still worried about where to catch the Pokemon to challenge the Poison-type Fuchsia Gym. Although Bulbasaur and Ghastly are poisonous, their attributes are main Grass and Ghost, which do not meet the mission requirements. Didn't this pillow come to you just after you fell asleep? Nidoran, that's a serious Poison-type Pokemon. The final evolved form, Nidoking, has an additional Ground type. Among all the main Poison-type Pokemon, Nidoking's species strength is outstanding. High potential plus species strength is worth cultivating as the main Pokemon in the future. It definitely meets Xiaozhi's subjugation standards. Xiaozhi was in a good mood as he conquered high-quality poison-type Pokemon at once so that he could challenge the Fuchsia Gym plan. Hold Misty's little hand, humming a song, and march towards the cheerful Rainbow City. On the way, while using wild Pokemon to level up Charmeleon and Bulbasaur, I was also searching for traces of Wild Mankey. Xiaozhi, everyone is tired. Please stop and rest for a while. Misty wiped the sweat from her white forehead, looked up at the scorching sun, and suggested to Xiaozhi. They had already set off from Saffron City all morning. Because Xiaozhi wanted to level up Bulbasaur and Charmeleon, he didn't ride by Jiao on the way. Instead, proceed along the rugged path step by step. Her physique is not comparable to that of Mega Rookie Xiaozhi, but is just a bit taller than normal Stephanie. After walking for so long, I was already a little tired. Xiaozhi looked at Misty, who looked exhausted, and Bulbasaur and Charmeleon, who were panting from exhaustion after dozens of battles. I couldn't help but feel a little ashamed. Just now, he was just thinking about leveling up quickly, but he didn't take into account the feelings of Misty, Bulbasaur, and Charmeleon. It really shouldn't be, since the frequency of system task releases has become faster. The speed at which Xiaozhi becomes stronger has increased. I can't help but feel a little impetuous. When I'm leveling, I always feel that the level is rising too slowly. I want to go faster, even faster. For a while, I forgot that the original intention of starting the trip was to enjoy the journey and improve myself. Thinking of this, Xiaozhi silently reviewed it in his heart and decided to make corrections in the future. Yeah, everyone is tired. Let's take a rest. Misty, you should also rest. I will prepare lunch. Xiaozhi released all the Pokemon and let them move freely. He let Charmeleon and Bulbasaur, who was already very tired, have a good rest, and held down Misty, who was about to prepare lunch. Okay, Xiaozhi, you don't have to make it too rich. It's just enough for us to eat. Misty nodded. Although both of them have very bad cooking skills, they have since acquired Pokemon food making machines and food making machines. The problem of food no longer bothered them. Just enter the ingredient input requirements and you can get nutritionally balanced and delicious food. It doesn't get much more foolproof than this. If you have such a good machine, you still can't make a delicious meal. This is not a problem with craftsmanship, but a problem with the brain. Not long after, Xiaozhi assisted two extremely convenient machines and prepared food for himself and the Pokemon. Bulbasaur and Charmeleon were physically exhausted in the morning. Xiaozhi also specially added some high-quality energy cubes replenished in Saffron City to them to help them quickly recover. In addition, he also uses massage techniques recorded in his self-taught breeder knowledge that can quickly relieve Pokemon fatigue. I gave Bulbasaur and Charmeleon some massage therapy. It can be seen that the effect is not wrong with 3.1. After pressing it, Bulbasaur and Charmeleon are much more energetic than before. After lunch, Xiaozhi did not continue on his way, but set up a tent on the spot and prepared to take a lunch break. Wait until the sun is not so fierce before setting off for Rainbow City. In the tent, after Misty fell asleep, Xiaozhi quietly got up and came outside the tent. Let Pikachu, who was still asleep, watch over him. Empty your consciousness and prepare to fuse the intermediate psychic obtained by completing the diagram challenge mission before. At that time, because it was not convenient to go to the Saffron Gym, Xiaozhi just collected the rewards and did not integrate them. Now is the time. After all, you can't use Pokemon to conquer Mankey/Primeape next, so he, a real person as a trainer, has to come on stage. In my memory, Mankey had a very bad temper. This is even more true after evolving into Primeape. The old spray is just bad. It's better to just beat the trainer when there is nothing wrong. Xiaozhi's next combat effectiveness is related to whether Monkey Saint Primeape has a rebellious period. Mankey Pictures. Chapter 76. Fusion of Intermediate Psychic. Trainer is warming up. System. Fusion Intermediate Psychic. Xiaozhi thought silently in his heart, and then felt a cool breath flowing through his mind. Soon, the coolness was gone, replaced by an unspeakable heat. Accompanying the burning sensation is severe pain. Xiaozhi pursed his lips and silently endured the pain caused by psychic's improvement. Only by enduring hardship can one become a superior person. Normal people who want to endure such hardship have not yet had the chance. The temporary pain is worth it in exchange for an intermediate psychic that is more powerful than the primary psychic. Pikachu looked at Xiaozhi's painful expression slightly nervously, feeling slightly worried. However, seeing that Xiaozhi had no other adverse reactions other than looking a little pained, I felt a little relieved. After all, I have witnessed Xiaozhi's awakening of the power of Waveguide and primary psychic before. It can be considered that I have seen some aspects of the world, and I'm not as panicked as when I first saw it. Time passed bit by bit, and in the blink of an eye, the sun that was actually hanging directly above had moved more than an inch to the west. After resting in the tent for a while, Misty got up energetically and subconsciously touched her side, but found nothing. Hey, doesn't Xiaozhi always get up later than me? Where has he been? With doubts, Misty got out of the tent. But not far away, Xiaozhi was sitting in an open space, looking a little painful. Pikachu, on the other hand, quietly stayed 490 not far from Xiaozhi. During this period, wild Pokemon set foot within 100 meters of Xiaozhi from time to time. They were all scared off when Pikachu blasted them with electricity at their feet. Pikachu, Xiaozhi, what's going on? Misty held her breath, walked to Pikachu quietly, and asked Pikachu in a low voice. Pika, 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 Pika. Pikachu danced and explained to Misty. Wait a minute, Pikachu. Are you saying that Xiaozhi seems to have achieved a breakthrough in his extraordinary power now? But there is no danger. He just looks a little painful. With the tacit understanding of traveling together for so long, and Pikachu's continuous gestures, understood the general meaning of Pikachu. Pikachu looked like a child who could be taught, and nodded to Misty. Okay, Pikachu, I understand. I'll stay here with you and don't disturb Xiaozhi. Misty couldn't help but lower her voice a little lower, almost speaking into Pikachu's ear. I was afraid that the slightly louder voice would affect Xiaozhi. At the same time, he looked around with alert eyes and released his Squirtle and Starmie. If you find a wild Pokemon approaching here, use your skills to drive it away immediately. As Misty and Pikachu wait, Xiaozhi's integration is finally coming to an end. I saw that his expression slowly calmed down at this time. If it weren't for the cold sweat that had just endured the pain on his face, there's almost nothing left to see. Xiaozhi opened his eyes and stood up, feeling the strength of psychic increased by more than 10 times, and couldn't help but have a smile on his face. Although the difference between intermediate psychic and elementary psychic is only one level, the difference is very obvious. Just like martial arts masters and ordinary people who have developed internal strength. At this moment, he could speak confidently. He wants to hit 10. The intermediate psychic alone is so much better than the basic psychic. It's hard to imagine how Sabrina's advanced psychic will perform if it is fully powered. Fortunately, at the Saffron City gym, Haunter was thrown out in time, interrupting Sabrina's Yandere spellcasting, and the design ended up in person. Otherwise, Xiaozhi can only use Super Ancient Dragonite to come to the rescue. It's just different from the last time the confrontation between Ramperchi City and the giant Tentacruel took place at sea. The Saffron City gym is located in the heart of Saffron City. The emergence of the Super Ancient Dragonite, even if it is deliberately controlled not to cause harm to people, will inevitably cause some damage. It is best not to use Xiaozhi's preparations unless necessary. It's almost time. Now it's an intermediate level of psychic. As long as the system is powerful and it triggers more tasks to improve the psychic level. It is not a dream to reach the master level beyond Sabrina Advanced Psychic in a short period of time. When the time comes, we must give Sabrina a bit of shock from cheaters. Let her know clearly what a big or small king is. When you compete in physical skills, if you lose, you lose. But she must not lie and insist that she won. Does he, Xiaozhi, have no face? Xiaozhi, it's great that you're okay. Pikachu, at this time, Pikachu and Misty, who had been silently guarding the wild Pokemon from a distance, came to Xiaozhi like flying. One person hugged Xiaozhi tightly from the front, and the other mouse leaped onto Xiaozhi's shoulders. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you, Misty and Pikachu. No matter when someone cares about you, it always warms your heart. Xiaozhi smiled and rubbed Pikachu's long, soft ears. Then he patted Misty gently on the back, like coaxing a child. Maybe Xiaozhi's way of comforting her made Misty feel ashamed. After dawdling for a while and coveting Xiaozhi's embrace, she broke away. I don't care about you. I'm just worried that something will happen to you, and I won't be able to explain it to Aunt Delia. If it weren't for this, I wouldn't bother to care about you. A bad guy who likes to feed people yogurt when he has nothing to do. A Misty hugged the bear with both hands and turned her head, looking arrogant. The orange ponytail above her head swayed with the owner's movements. It makes people's hearts itch, and they want to grab it and make it a little more honest so that it doesn't tug at the heartstrings anymore. Xiaozhi controlled his eyes and looked away from Misty's orange ponytail, thinking that he would let Misty grow the ponytail a little longer in the future. Yes, Misty, you are right. Since no one cares about my life and death as a loner, I will have to travel alone in the future. With that said, Xiaozhi packed his luggage with a sad look on his face. Even though she knew Xiaozhi was probably joking when she saw his actions, Misty couldn't help it. A flying pounce landed on Xiaozhi's back. Don't make jokes like this again, or I'll bite you to death next time. As she said that, she showed Xiaozhi her not-so-obvious little fangs. No matter how powerful a man is, he has his own weaknesses. Xiaozhi felt a faint sadness coming over him. He nodded in agreement. Scared. Seeing that Xiaozhi thought he was cowardly, Misty jumped off him proudly. We have been traveling together for so long and have been frustrated by Xiaozhi, but now we have finally regained some ground. Feeling comfortable. If Xiaozhi gives him face like this, should we give him some reward? He mentioned it last time. Oops, no, because it's embarrassing. Change it to another one. Misty put her fair index finger on her chin. Her pink lips slightly pouted and fell into a brainstorm. At noon on the second day, while the group was dining, an uninvited guest came to the temporary campsite. A Mankey who looks quite power-tripped, but somewhat lacking in social thunder. Finally come, Xiaozhi's eyes lit up. He stopped other pets who were eager to teach Mankey a lesson. He moved his wrists and twisted his neck, and the bones all over his body made a crackling sound. Trainer is warming up. Chapter 77. Conquer Prime Ape. This kid has never been rebellious since he was a child Mankey, looked at the delicious rice balls and the hat on Xiaozhi's head, and felt itchy in his heart, wishing he could grab it now. It's just that Pikachu and others around Xiaozhi bring a lot of threat to it. Let it dare not act rashly for the time being. He was just wandering around, trying to find a spot where his defenses were loose, and then grab him. Although it is violent, it is not brainless. Has it been discovered? Mankey, who was wandering around the campsite, looking for opportunities, saw Xiaozhi and others looking at him, and subconsciously wanted to make a strategic retreat. But when he saw that only Xiaozhi was warming up for the activity, the steps he had just raised dropped again. Is there something seriously wrong with this human trainer's brain? If you don't use Pokemon to deal with yourself, do you want to go into battle yourself? Just in time to grab your rice balls and hats. Thinking this, Mankey jumped with confidence. Xiaozhi, is he really okay like this? Although it is clear that Xiaozhi has psychic and good fighting skills, he is not a normal and weak trainer. But Pokemon is Pokemon after all, and it has advantages that human beings born with 860 cannot achieve. Misty felt a little worried when she saw that Xiaozhi wanted to go into battle personally to deal with the monsters. At this time, she was nervously holding two pink pig dolls and staring at them intently. Pikachu waved his little paw indifferently. When Xiaozhi awakened the primary psychic, he could see it clearly. Just use psychic to uproot a small tree as big as a bowl. Yesterday, I made some enhancements just to deal with a little Mankey. So sprinkle some water. Okay, Pikachu, you have to keep an eye on it. Misty asked Pikachu, although her Pokemon grew very quickly after she rolled them up too. But in comparison, Pikachu is more reassuring. Pika, Pikachu patted his small chest and looked like he was leaning on it. In the field, Mankey discovered that the other Pokemon really had no intention of interfering, and instead of retreating, he advanced. Quickly rushed to Xiaozhi and take off his hat. Well, one more punch. Punch it twice to avoid being beaten severely by that yellow-skinned mouse over there. Punch and run. Mankey is full of confidence. Pokemon versus human trainer. This wave of advantage is mine. He walked straight to Xiaozhi, reached for the hat with one hand, and struck at Xiaozhi's eye socket with the other hand, hoping to complete the battle. However, it was found that neither goal was achieved. The entire Pokemon seemed to be controlled by Disable and stopped at a position a week away from Xiaozhi's hat and eye sockets. No matter how hard it tried, it just couldn't move an inch. It was like being poured into dry cement. Even though it was in the air, it was like a drowning person, feeling extremely uncomfortable. Mankey directed Rage's eyes towards the initiator of everything, Xiaozhi. But sadly, he discovered that apart from his eyes, it had no means of attacking Xiaozhi. Just like that, the frozen Mankey watched Xiaozhi dangling in front of it. He also took out the hat he wanted to grab and showed it. After shaking it several times, he brought it back to his head. The heart-wrenching scene made him so angry that he almost exploded. A fierce and dazzling white light burst out from his body. This is going to evolve? Pikachu, Misty, and others who were watching the battle looked a little surprised. How angry must this Mankey be to perform a wave of evolution on the spot? Didn't you just stop it from grabbing the hat? Stop it, and then wave the hat in front of its eyes twice? To be honest, you're the one who makes the first move. What's the point of being angry now that we are being counterattacked? Because we are not strong enough. Shouldn't we just lie down and let them be laughed at? The Pokédex says that Mankey has a bad temper, which is not unreasonable. Mankey 28 Primapev 28 already up to standard with a little bit of emotional stimulation. Mankey evolved directly into Primeape. This kind of behavior of immediately exploding when encountering a strong enemy is very similar to the protagonists of some cool novels. But Xiaozhi is not one of those villains, and it is impossible to overturn him. After seeing Mankey evolve into Primeape, remove the psychic that imprisoned Primeape and use it to bless himself. Then he used his intermediate fighting skills to show Primeape, a fighting Pokemon, what real fighting is. 2.5 minutes later, Primeape, who was beaten with a ruthless iron hand by Xiaozhi, was bruised and swollen. He found that no matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't touch Xiaozhi's clothes and was taught to be a monkey. He immediately raised his hands in a very bachelor manner and surrendered. If you can't beat it, join. It could be seen that Xiaozhi didn't have much ill intentions towards it. Otherwise, it will be destroyed with one punch. I really don't know what this human trainer grew up on. It's even more outrageous than this fighting-type Pokemon. Primeape. My family, who knows? I just wanted to grab a hat today, but ended up being F-ed by trainer. Xiaozhi looked at Primeape, who bowed before him, and nodded with satisfaction. Primeape is finally joining the team. Wouldn't it be better if it was like this earlier? Although he likes to reason, if anyone doesn't want to listen to reason, he also has some skills. After being subdued after this severe beating, Primeape will no longer be rebellious in the future. He likes to beat trainer whenever he has nothing to do. I don't know where he learned this bad habit. It must be stopped at the source, otherwise it will be difficult to lead this team. He took out a blank treasure ball from his waist and knocked it on Primeape. When the baby ball pops open, you need to put the Primeape inside. In order to avoid severe beatings, Primeape also wanted to learn more useful fighting skills from Xiaozhi to strengthen himself. Resisting the urge to break free from this weak restraint, he consciously entered the baby ball. Pokemon, Primeape level, 428 potential, elite level ability. Do not admit defeat intimacy. 225, full value 255, skills, cross chop, focus energy, seismic toss, low kick, leer, etc. What to carry? None. After subduing the fiery monkey, Xiaozhi looked at Primeape's panel. The potential of the elite level is as expected. The original plot has just evolved, and you have to defeat Bulbasaur Squirtle one after another, even though the level is not particularly high. Later, he won the P1 fighting competition not long after being subdued, which shows that his talent is not bad. Ability is hidden. Ability refuses to admit defeat, which makes Xiaozhi quite satisfied. Primeape's normal ability is the energy or rage acupoint. Motivation ability will not fall into sleep contest condition, and the rest skill is useless against it. If the rage acupuncture point is hit, the attack will increase by 6 levels. If he is hit in the vital part by a punch and does not lose the ability to fight on the spot. The power of Primeape's next counterattack will be particularly terrifying. But there is an embarrassing point, that is, after finally evolving into the abandoned monkey. Rage acupoint ability will be replaced by mental power, and the effect will be relatively weak. It's just that it won't enter the flinching contest condition, but it's not absolute. Faced with rival's ability to break the rules, mega voltage, etc., you have to enter the contest condition when it's time to shrink back. All in all, although the rage acupuncture point is good, it will eventually be replaced after evolution, unless Primeape is kept suppressed and does not evolve. But that's not the case either. Hidden ability is different if it refuses to admit defeat. Every time the ability decreases, the attack will increase by 2 levels. As long as enough poison buffs are stacked, Primeape's attack power will increase, not inferior to that of Rage Acupoint. Moreover, it also avoids the embarrassment of being hit by an enemy when a vital point is hit. If the damage is too large, it will directly drain the stamina, and there will be no time to activate the Rage Acupoint ability. The most important thing is that regular battles are excluded from gym battles and stage battles. Xiaozhi can completely use other Pokemon to add poison buffs to Primeape and increase Primeape's attack level. Turn passive ability into active ability. How can the word Huang be so good? Primeape is definitely worth focusing on cultivating. Anthony's old guy dared to ask for Primeape from him, and his wife and daughter who beat him directly didn't dare to recognize him. After all, he's a scumbag who abandoned his wife and daughter. Xiaozhi's eyes passed over other attributes and stopped at the intimacy level of 225 points. Can't tell. Primeape is still in him? Eat the hard stuff and not the soft stuff, right? After being beaten by myself, the intimacy level after being subdued was actually much higher than other Pokemon that were subdued normally. TSK, 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 wow. Hanging the Primeape Pokeball around his waist. Xiaozhi turned around and prepared to return to the campsite. What greeted him was the look Misty was looking at the monster, normal. Chapter 78. Super Plus Fighting Humanoid Pokemon Xiaozhi. The level is soaring. Misty circled around Xiaozhi, squeezing and stroking her right and left, and her little hands went down along the chest. Finally, Xiaozhi caught him with a dark face. Can that be touched casually outside? It's not night yet. Xiaozhi, sometimes I really wonder if you're a Pokemon that is transformed into a human form, or a psychic fighting type. Misty couldn't help but say she has never seen any trainer as outrageous as Xiaozhi. Normally, wouldn't trainers hide behind and let Pokemon get on them? Why did you teach Primeape a lesson like a lesson to your grandson? Misty doesn't know whether other people's fiery monkeys are obedient or not, but Primeape, whom Xiaozhi conquered, has no rebellious period since he was a child. Because it was disobedient, Xiaozhi also knew some tricks. According to what you said, Sabrina is also a Pokemon figure. It's just that she has a single psychic type. Xiaozhi was confused when looking at Misty's fair forehead. Misty covers her forehead. It's not impossible. Her Pokemon isn't as strong as hers. If she ends up on her own, maybe our Kanto region will have another super type elite. You two are perverts. Misty muttered the second half of the sentence silently in her heart. If she said this, she would suffer a lot. Every time Xiaozhi was unhappy, her cheeks would be sore until noon of the next day. If she released her fire power, she could stand there on the spot. Misty, are you jealous that we have psychic? Don't be envious. No matter how envious you are, you won't be. Some things are not available when you are born, and there's a chance that they will not be available in this life. However, your future children will have the opportunity to have psychic and become other people's children. Xiaozhi fed Misty poisonous chicken soup. And by the way, CPU told her to give birth to her own child in the future. Gue is envious of you. Also, who is going to have a child with you? You narcissistic BD Xiaozhi. Misty jumped up like a cat whose tail was stepped on. Her face turned red, and she spoke harshly. If you don't want to be born with me, how about you want to be born with someone else? Miss Misty, You don't want to lose out at the starting line when your future children are born, right? Shut up. Shut up. We are still young. We will talk about this kind of thing later. After protecting her face and saying these words, Misty fled back into the tent and covered her head with a sleeping bag. One hand grabbed the bowtie pig doll given by Xiaozhi from Nibi City and began to ravage it crazily. After teasing the Thunder Misty every day, Xiaozhi took out the primate that had just been put into the pokeball and gave a potion. Unexpectedly, primate was used to being treated roughly by Xiaozhi when applying the medicine. Primate suddenly seemed a little at a loss. The intimacy level instantly broke through from 225 points to the full value of 255 points. This made Xiaozhi seriously doubt that Primeape had any serious illness, such as Stockholm Syndrome or something. However, the increased intimacy of your own Pokemon with Trainer is a good thing. Xiaozhi didn't dwell too much and put the matter behind him. It's not long since I gave Primeape the good medicine. After finally calming down, Misty, who still had a suspiciously reddish cheek, emerged from the tent as if nothing had happened. The group then set off towards Rainbow City. On the way, Xiaozhi focused on leveling up Charmeleon and Bulbasaur. Grass-type's Rainbow Gym and Fire-type's Cinnabar Gym can be passed with just these two, especially Charmeleon. The rival it has to face is Blaine from the Cinnabar Gym, the former Fire Elite from the Kanto region. Before you are not sure what level of Pokemon your opponent will bring out to meet the gym challenge. The higher the Charmeleon level is, the better. Otherwise, it will be embarrassing if you can't pass. Apart from the embarrassment, there are also extremely generous mission rewards. You know, Cinnabar Gym is the last link in the chain of tasks. The reward is a random upgrade. A certain Pokemon in Xiaozhi's team reaches level 9. If this happens randomly to Ghastly at level 61, how can he be directly promoted to level 70 and advance to the championship? It's like Nyobi opened the door for Nyobi, Tianguan is home. Randomly landing it on Pikachu can also make Pikachu reach IV 59 and be promoted to Elite soon. In short, as long as you don't randomly end up at Krabby's place in Professor Oak's laboratory. No matter what, Xiaozhi won't lose anything. With such a generous reward, even if there is a slight possibility of losing, Xiaozhi does not want it to exist. 2.5 days later, Xiaozhi and his party arrived in Rainbow City. Due to good luck on the road, I happened to encounter several high-level wild Pokemon groups. 2 more Beedrill groups were spawned, with hundreds of them in total. The super potion in Xiaozhi's hand was like running water while using normal. The strength levels of Bulbasaur and Charmeleon are also soaring. Pokemon Bulbasaur level 433, LV 36. Pokemon Charmeleon level 426, LV 35. Bulbasaur's level has been directly upgraded by 3 levels, reaching LV 36. You only need to upgrade 4 more levels to enter the gym level. And Charmeleon's level has been raised by a full 9 levels, mainly because Charmeleon starts with a lower level and requires less combat experience to level up. In addition, Charmeleon's potential is stronger than Bulbasaur, reaching the championship level. In the same battle, the efficiency of obtaining combat experience is higher. As long as the current Charmeleon is upgraded to 1 level, it should be able to evolve into Charizard. By then, it will have a second flying type, and its species strength will be greatly improved, and it will be much stronger than it is now. It is different from the original plot, where Lao Fong was eager to save Xiaozhi from Aerodactyl. Nowadays, the most experienced sprayers have used Charmander's exclusive tempering. Clear away all the influences from the bad encounters with Damien and restore to the most perfect contest condition. The second is that Xiaozhi has been training him using the breeder method, which is far superior to Charizard Valley. Third, reach the level and evolve naturally. Fourth, possess the best carrying item, Magic Charcoal. The conditions in all aspects are completely fulfilled. Once evolved, it will surpass the old spray in the original plot in all aspects. In the future, there may be a chance to claim the throne of Xiaozhi's most powerful force besides the mythical beasts. After all, Pikachu now has a hidden ability actor. If you're lucky and the trigger is triggered when facing a mythical beast, you could get a 50-50 draw. Even if I'm not lucky enough, I can still get a 50-50 draw with a newbie Pokemon that just debuted. The strength is not very stable, and it depends on luck. We have to wait until Xiaozhi gets the championship reward of the Kanto Indigo Plateau Conference. Use hidden ability to modify the scroll to remove the drawbacks of Pikachu's ability. Only then can we turn the actor's ability, a double-edged sword that hurts both others and ourselves, into a sharp blade that only hurts the enemy, but not ourselves. Good for Nuo Zhao. After entering Rainbow City, I first went to the Pokemon Center as usual and asked Nurse Joy to restore the contest condition of the team's pets. Then we spent the night resting at the Pokemon Center. The journey is not just about leveling up and training and challenging gyms. Rest and leisure are also necessary. Early the next morning, Xiaozhi left the Pokemon Center with Pikachu standing on his shoulders and Misty, who was holding not only her cheeks, but also her little hands in her hand. Target Rainbow Gym. Let's talk about fighting Grass-type Pokemon in front of people at Grass-type gyms. Isn't it suspected of being a bit of a juggler? I hope Erica, the gym owner, doesn't think he's here to kick the gym and bring out his main Pokemon. In this way, in order to complete the task, Xiaozhi had no choice but to send Elite Ghastly to talk to Erica, the owner of the hall, without any martial ethics. She asked her to send out a Pokemon with the same strength as Bulbasaur to fight. It's not attributes advantage. Pokemon can't use you, but it's more cost-effective than a tribute Pokemon. This is what the famous critic 5-star General Matt Arthur said. Protagonist picture. Chapter 79. Be gentle. Give Xiaozhi some face. Be confident. Erica. 2 people and 1 mouse came to the Rainbow Gym. As expected, there was no one in the gym. What should I do with Xiaozhi? There is no one in the Rainbow Gym. How about we go find someone outside and ask what's going on? Misty looked at the closed Rainbow Gym and suggested to Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi shook his head. No need. I know where the Rainbow Gym leader is. Saying that, he looked at Misty again. Misty, didn't I say before that I would buy perfume for you in Rainbow City? Let's go and take a walk. Perfume? Then I want the Gloom series. As soon as she heard this, Misty got excited. She pulled Xiaozhi and ran outside with the same enthusiasm as Xiaozhi for leveling up. The perfume shop opened by Erica is one of the most famous places in Rainbow City. The perfumes sold here are loved by many women in the Kanto region, and it is also one of the classic check-in places in Rainbow City. Misty, who didn't know that the manager of the perfume store was the Rainbow Gym leader, dragged Xiaozhi here just because of the reputation of this store. It could be considered as getting straight to the point in another sense. In the perfume store, Xiaozhi accompanied Misty to try one perfume after another without feeling impatient at all. Just kidding, this stuff pleases not just Misty, but him as well. Can't you pick one that you also like to smell? Not long after, I picked out a whole set of 12 bottles of perfume for Misty. Xiaozhi wanted to buy some more, but Misty stopped her because she was worried about the money. In addition to buying it for Misty, Xiaozhi also bought his mother Delia a set of perfumes suitable for young mothers by asking the store clerk. Fortunately, because there are so many tourists here, many people choose to send perfume as souvenirs to relatives and friends, and the perfume shop has opened a mailing service. Xiaozhi directly asked the perfume store to deliver the perfume he bought for his mother Delia to Palatown. It saves you a trip to the post office. Xiaozhi found the convenience and silently praised the store's service. Guest, are you saying that you want to challenge the Rainbow Gym? When checking out, Xiaozhi asked Erica, who was dressed in kimono, to challenge the Rainbow Gym. Many people in Rainbow City know that Erica and the gym staff opened this perfume shop. Therefore, Erica was not surprised that Xiaozhi recognized her identity. But she didn't expect that this boy would actually challenge her to the gym in the store. Yes, Miss Erica, I just went to the Rainbow Gym and found that you were not there, and I didn't know when it would open, so I came here to look for you. It's really a bit offensive. It's okay. Boys who like to buy perfume for girls get preferential treatment here. Wait a moment. I will hand over the work, and then go back to the gym to accompany you to complete this gym battle. Because of Xiaozhi's performance so far, Erica has a good impression of this handsome boy who is good to his girlfriend and mother. I deliberately handed over the work in advance and took Xiaozhi and Misty to the Rainbow Gym. Along with me, there were 2 clerks from the store. Gym challenges also require them to serve as referee witnesses. Sure enough, as long as Erica doesn't show resistance to perfume and grass-type Pokemon in front of her, she is a gentle big sister. Seeing that Erica is so easy to talk to, I remembered Xiaozhi in the original plot talking nonsense in the perfume shop, thinking that perfume was a useless thing. As a result, they encountered a joint boycott by Erica and the store clerk. Finally, with the help of Team Rocket, they dressed up as women and sneaked into the Rainbow Gym. Xiaozhi couldn't help but secretly express his foresight. I went out to buy some perfume, which made me happy, my girlfriend Misty, and my mother Delia, and it also made it easier to challenge the gym. Totally a win-win-win. It's just that the perfumes in Erica's store are much more expensive than those in other stores. However, Xiaozhi's wallet can fully bear this amount of consumption, and there is no problem even if he spends several times more. Ever since I used Charmeleon to complete 10 consecutive winning missions on the Saint and obtain the Pokemon food making machine and cooking making machine, the cost of raising Pokemon has been greatly reduced. Just buying some ingredients is nothing to his financial resources. As a result, he also has more spare money to buy energy cubes and auxiliary training equipment. Send some home to ease the burden on Mom Delia, and use it on yourself and Misty to improve the quality of life. Thank you to all the enthusiastic trainers on the Santo Anno for your hard work. The gym challenge rules are 3v3, with the gym leader releasing Pokemon first. During the battle, challengers can change Pokemon. If all 3 Pokemon on one side lose their combat capabilities or leave the arena, it will be deemed a failure. The battle begins. A cute girl, still wearing a store clerk's uniform, climbed onto the referee's stand and announced the start of the gym challenge. Erica elegantly took out a Pokeball. Come out, Xiaozhi. Pokemon, Tangela level 420. Tangela's appearance looks like a ball of tentacles tangled together, and the two-dimensional painting style is slightly better. From the perspective of the three-dimensional painting style of the real Pokemon world, where Xiaozhi lives, it seems a bit unworthy. People can't help but associate it with strange words about magical girls, defeat, and losses. Even Xiaozhi couldn't help but recall the movie about 3D tentacles fighting magical girls that he had watched on some small websites in his previous life. Speaking of which, the Pokemon conquered by Erica, an elegant beauty, don't seem very good-looking. Tangela's level is only 420. And she has not yet learned the ancient power to level up and evolve. This is also the welfare board that Erica prepares for challengers. Starting with the easy stuff, and then the harder stuff is a common method used by other normal gym leaders, except the scumbag Majishur. Defeat or have an eye-catching performance in the battle, and be recognized by the gym leader. Everyone has a chance to get a badge issued by the gym leader. Looking at Tangela with her unique painting style, Misty couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed and moved to Xiaozhi's side. The look he looked at Erica also showed more respect. He is a ruthless person to be able to cultivate such a Pokemon. Tangela, it's you, Bulbasaur. Xiaozhi released Bulbasaur. Pokemon, Bulbasaur level. For 36, this child has been raised very well, but I don't know why he hasn't evolved. As an expert on grass-type Pokemon, the first time Erica saw Bulbasaur, she noticed that Bulbasaur was not normal. In short, it doesn't look like a Pokemon that hasn't evolved. Bulbasaur doesn't want to evolve himself. So, as a trainer, I naturally respect his intention. And you can become stronger without evolving. Very good. I agree with your idea. Xiaozhi, even if you lose the game, I will still give you the rainbow badge. Erica's already good impression of Xiaozhi became even better. This sentence sounds simple, but how many people can accept that their Pokemon will not evolve? You know, evolution is the simplest and crudest way to improve the strength of Pokemon. Many people even want to give Pokemon the final evolutionary power as quickly as possible. Don't hesitate to use some means to evolve Pokemon in advance. In comparison, Xiaozhi's approach is too rare. Just because I respect Pokemon's ideas, I gave up on evolving strong combat power. But what Erica thought was different was that there was chlorophyll ability and the best miracle seed. In addition, Bulbasaur's talent is outstanding enough that even without evolving, he can still learn attribute moves like Sunshine Flame. The difference in strength between Xiaozhi's Bulbasaur evolved and not evolved is really not as big as normal people imagine. It can still be made up through hard training. It's rare to find a young man that I admire so much. I'd better be gentler when I strike later, to save him some face. Also, don't hit the Bulbasaur that doesn't want to evolve too hard. After Tangela is defeated, he sends out the next Pokemon to fight for a while before defeating it. Don't kill it instantly as soon as it comes up. It will make it feel that its own lack of evolution is holding Xiaozhi back, and it will be traumatized in its heart. Erica thought in her heart. Erica, Tangela pictured small. Chapter 80. Erica's shock. Is this genius? Tangela, we use Vine Whip. Erica took the lead in commanding Tangela to launch the attack. Bulbasaur, let's also use Vine Whip to show the opponent your strength. Xiaozhi also responded with Vine Whip. To be honest, Bulbasaur's proficiency in Sauce Whip is quite high. In the original plot, Vine Whip, a skill with low power, defeated countless rivals. Several Vine Whips collided in the air, and the one released by Tangela was quickly defeated by Bulbasaur. Then, Bulbasaur's tenacity Vine Whip struck Tangela, knocking it out of combat capability in just one blow. The gap between 436 and 420 is really a bit big. Misstep, this Bulbasaur may be a higher level than I expected. Erica couldn't help but secretly thought, although Tangela's level is not high, it is a welfare bureau that she uses to give to challengers, but it does not mean that she treats Tangela's breeder as free range. Tangela's evolved form, Tangrowth, has species strength as high as 535 points. It is a bit higher than Venusaur, the final evolved form of Bulbasaur from Kanto region grass type. It is a rare and powerful grass type Pokemon. How could she not be interested? Even if it is the Welfare Bureau, the challenger needs to spend some energy to defeat it. But with the same Vine Whip skill, Bulbasaur came later. It even directly defeated Tangela's Vine Whip and knocked Tangela out of combat capability with one blow. It can be seen that although Xiaozhi's Bulbasaur has not evolved, it may be stronger than some of its evolved siblings. It's a tough rival. At this time, Erica no longer had the mentality of giving advice. He put Tangela back into the baby ball, and then released his next Pokemon. Pokemon, Weepinbell, level 430 elite level. The second Pokemon sent by Erica has suddenly reached the elite level. Although he has not yet used Leaf Stone to evolve into Victreebel, under the command of Erica, a trainer who specializes in grass type, his strength cannot be underestimated. Bulbasaur, give it the last flying leaf. Not long after Erica took out Weepinbell with confidence, she was defeated by Xiaozhi commanding Bulbasaur. This destructive attitude made Erica doubt her life for a while. Is it you or Xiaozhi who challenges the gym? She was a grass-type gym leader, but she was defeated by someone using grass-type's Earl Dervish form Pokemon. Looking at this posture, it seems that there's still a rhythm of 1 wearing 3. No, you absolutely can't let someone wear 1 to 3. Subconsciously, Erica wanted to take out her main Pokemon. Let's get rid of Xiaozhi's Bulbasaur. Otherwise, a grass-type gym will be defeated by a challenger using the same attribute Pokemon. Wouldn't she be embarrassed? As the military commander of Rainbow City, a large city in the Kanto region. Although Erica looks like a gentle big sister on the surface, she is really not weak in strength. The main team in hand has several quasi-elite Pokemon with IV 50 or above. Even the main force of the second team has gym level IV 40 and above. Just take out one at random, and you can defeat that annoying 1-2-piece Bulbasaur. It's just that this goes against the gym leader's professional ethics. Erica's expression changed several times, and she finally chose professional ethics between morality and face. Damn Xiaozhi, why don't you choose a Pokemon whose attribute restrains grass type to challenge? There is nothing to be ashamed of even if one wears 3. I just choose the same grass type as myself. Killing is heartbreaking, right? Even with the good impression left before, Zhao is still furious. I can't wait to take a bite of Xiaozhi. With a dark face, he released the last Pokemon he had prepared for the gym battle. Pokemon, Vileplume, level V35. Normally, level 35 is enough to deal with most challengers. However, Facing the equally good Bulbasaur and Xiaozhi, who looked nothing like a rookie trainer in terms of tactical command, Erica rarely felt a little less confident. Suppress the inexplicable uneasiness rising in my heart. Vileplume, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, Sleep Powdery. Erica commanded Vileplume to come up with a three-piece set of negative buffs. Vileplume is a grass-type Pokemon with huge flowers and lots of pollen. He is naturally good at releasing this kind of powder skills. After receiving Erica's instructions, all kinds of powder immediately covered Bulbasaur in overwhelming numbers. Bulbasaur, speed up to dodge, and then use Sun Flame. Although it is not sunshine or sunny day weather, the chlorophyll ability cannot be activated. But Xiaozhi's Bulbasaur is really not slow. Plus, he has used a magical speed potion. In just an instant, he moved his 4 short legs, increasing his speed to the extreme, narrowly escaping the powder skills of various poisonous buffs. Immediately, in the center of the bud seeds on his back, little bits of sunlight gathered at a considerable speed. Then it turned into an extremely dazzling beam of light, falling directly on the Vileplume flower path in the distance, which had just released its pollen skills and had not had time to move. With an explosion, Vileplume lost its ability to fight. What? Erica was shocked when she saw that Bulbasaur released the sun's flames without much stockpile. Her beautiful eyes couldn't help but widen, and the look she looked at Xiaozhi became a little more probing and unpredictable. As Grass-type's ultimate move, Solar Beam is certainly powerful. However, it has a rather fatal flaw. That is, the stockpile time is too long, and it is easy for Rival to seize the opportunity. How to reduce the stockpile time of Sunflame has become a problem that many Grass-type Pokemon trainers want to overcome. What did she just see? A Bulbasaur unleashes Solar Fire in a very short time. Although it is not instantaneous like normal skills, there is still a certain delay. But compared to the terrifying power of the sun's flames, this slight delay is insignificant. It's not unfair to lose this gym battle. In terms of Grass-type Pokemon breeder, she is not as good as this boy named Xiaozhi. How could he, a trainer who had just set out on a journey, do this? At this moment, Erica only felt that Xiaozhi was full of mysteries, and people couldn't help but want to find out. Vileplume loses the ability to fight. Bulbasaur wins. Since all 3 Pokemon owned by Erica have lost their ability to fight, this gym battle will be won by Xiaozhi from Pallet Town. The 2 cute staff members who also knew the difficulty of Bulbasaur's operation were also surprised and opened their mouths wide enough to put down a large ham sausage. After being stunned for a while, he stammered and announced the result of the game. Xiaozhi, you won this gym battle. I am not as good as you. With that said, Erica took out the rainbow badge and handed it to Xiaozhi. Thank you, Miss Erica. You're also very capable. As soon as Xiaozhi showed his habitual modesty, he saw Erica looking at her with a murderous look. I immediately thought that I defeated Erica with Grass-type's Bulbasaur. Modesty at this time may be interpreted as a different kind of pretentiousness. After coming back to his senses, Xiaozhi immediately kept silently took the rainbow badge and put it into the badge box. The badge collection progress is 5 of 8, and there are only 3 badges left to participate in the Indigo Plateau Conference in the Kanto region. Xiaozhi, are you interested in staying at Rainbow Gym for 2 days? I have some questions I want to discuss with you. Seeing that Xiaozhi was no longer interested in Versailles and accepted the rainbow badge, Erica suggested with a smile on her face. Forget it, Sister Erica. I won't decide next time. It's been so long since I started traveling, and I still haven't collected enough money to collect 8 badges, and I still have to start traveling again. Come back, Bulbasaur. Misty, Pikachu, let's go. Erica's performance reminded Xiaozhi of the last night he stayed at the Golden Gym. Inexplicably, he became the lotus platform under the Guanyin seat. Although Miss Erica is not a Yandra like Sabrina, she doesn't seem like someone who would do such a thing. Xiaozhi, adhering to the principle that doing more is worse than doing less, quickly pulled Misty Pikachu away. Seeing Xiaozhi leaving, Xiaozhi sighed. I originally wanted to exchange some experiences with each other on cultivating grass-type Pokemon. Now everyone ran away. How on earth did he manage to shorten the preparation time for Sunflame so much? I don't understand. Is this the difference between geniuses and ordinary people? Erica, who's been dubbed the genius grass-type trainer since she was a child, suddenly feels the same pain as the ordinary people she crushed before. To be honest, it's quite strange. Forget it. You can definitely develop such skills yourself without relying on others. I won't go to the perfume shop from now on. I must surprise Xiaozhi next time. Erica silently clenched her fists. Chapter 81. By Jiao level +3, Dragon Spirit Tiger Mang Pill Xiaozhi. Just now, Miss Erica invited you to stay for 2 days and exchange experiences on cultivating grass-type Pokemon. Why didn't you agree? Miss Erica's strength is very good among all the gyms in the Kanto region, and he has been known as a genius at grass-type Pokemon since he was a child. Although Xiaozhi, you are also very powerful, but communicating with such a genius may also inspire you in cultivating grass-type Pokemon. After being almost dragged out of the Rainbow Gym by Xiaozhi, Misty asked Xiaozhi, who was a little confused. Could it be that the Rainbow Gym is some kind of dragon pool and tiger den? As soon as Xiaozhi heard that she was going to stay, he hurriedly pulled her away. Knowing that there is Sabrina's Saffron Gym that is countless times scarier than Erica, didn't they also stay for one night? Isn't there nothing? Xiaozhi glanced at the top of Misty's head thoughtfully. It is said that dogs with golden retrievers are prone to failure and dogs with orange coats are almost the same. My home had already been stolen once in Saffron City. If I stayed at the Rainbow Gym for a few days, I might get stolen again. Same chance of being killed by a cat. Although the possibility of Miss Erica doing this is low, it is not impossible. Xiaozhi, what's that look in your eyes? Why does it feel a little weird? Misty was a little confused by Xiaozhi's somewhat thoughtful eyes and thought she had something dirty on her head. I reached out and touched it and found that there was nothing there, which made me feel even more strange. 193. It's okay, no problem. Xiaozhi was embarrassed to say this kind of thing, mainly because the situation at that time was a bit too explosive. If it had been anything else, he might have confessed and been lenient. The key point is that when Sabrina came over, Misty was still sleeping next to her. If Misty finds out about this wife, Xiaozhi can guarantee that Misty will go to Sabrina to fight for her life. Misty's little arms and legs must not be turned into a doll by Sabrina and played with at will. He was reluctant to do more bad things because Misty was still young. How could he be bullied by his second wife? Although when the two were together, Misty learned about his scumbag nature from Xiaozhi. But I don't object to my partner finding someone else, which is completely different from Sabrina's situation. Xiaozhi randomly picked a green edible tree fruit on the roadside and handed it to Misty. Eat more green food if you have nothing to do. It's good for your health. If you want to live a decent life, you must have some green on your head. Misty was completely unaware of Xiaozhi's verbal hint and raised a big smile at Xiaozhi. He took a bite of the green fruit. This fruit is very sweet, Xiaozhi. Do you want to try it too? With that said, he raised the bitten fruit in his hand towards Xiaozhi and turned the unbitten side towards Xiaozhi. Looking at the green and frightening fruit, Xiaozhi shook his head decisively. It's okay, Misty. You can eat. I'm not hungry. Chaj. This matter is revealed, and the mental consciousness is immersed in the system interface. At this time, the reminder that the first round of the challenge mission was completed had already sounded in his mind. Ding! Complete the first ring mission. Use the main grass-type Pokemon to defeat the Rainbow Gym and obtain the Rainbow Badge. Task completion reward. Random Pokemon level +3. The current random Pokemon is Bidiao level V36. LV3 Xiaozhi had a smile on his face after receiving the mission reward. Although it was not randomly assigned to the highest level Ghastly, Pikachu, and Flash Gyarados. But Bidiao is not bad either. The level of LV36 is equivalent to Bulbasaur. It is the highest level besides Ghastly Pikachu and Flash Gyarados. In short, as long as you don't randomly end up with only IV6 when conquering. I have been raising it at Professor Oak for a while, and I don't know if there is any Krabby that has broken through to LV10. Xiaozhi burns high incense. Nowadays, the level of Pidgeot has been raised to LV39. As long as it is upgraded one more level, it can be promoted from elite level Pokemon to gym level. By then, its strength will be greatly improved. It is also a big improvement for Xiaozhi's entire team. Complete the first ring to defeat the Rainbow Gym mission and get generous rewards. Xiaozhi can't help but look forward to the next Fuchsia Gym and Cinnabar Gym. Random Pokemon level +6 and level +9. The reward from this mission is much better than the level +3 of Rainbow Gym. Not to mention that after all 3 ring tasks are completed, the highest level Pokemon in
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.